underway, baby. Let's get round 22 underway, and we are live. Hey guys, how you going? So down BKRsport, we are live as the North Queensland Cowboys will be taking on the Sydney Roosters in a very important game for the Cowboys. It's still important for the Roosters. Obviously, they're up the top end of the table, and they're not too concerned right now. They've already got their 13 wins, which means that they are essentially guaranteed in the top 8 already for the season. They are in the midst of a minor premiership battle with the Panthers, and also in the midst of a top 4 battle with teams like the Warriors, the Sharks, the Dolphins, and I guess you can technically include the Knights and the Cowboys if you really want to, but probably not. At this point, you'd probably be looking at the top 4 being anyone out of the Roosters, Warriors, Sharks, and the Dolphins. So, look, it's still an important game here for the Sydney Roosters. But for the Cowboys, obviously, this is just dire straits important because they are on the edge of the top 8. They are in 8th position with minus 28, and that is a nightmare to deal with when you've got a negative points differential and you are sitting right on the edge. Now, they're very grateful that Manly did lose last week to the Cronulla Sharks in an absolute drubbing, which, look, Manly's point differential is still plus 90. But the Bulldogs are moving. The Bulldogs are absolutely moving right now. At the very least, the Cowboys do have a bye to go. But look, 2 wins separate them from just outside the top 8. But if they lose here today and, the Bulldogs get a win against the Melbourne Storm this weekend, well, it will get really, really juicy. Well, actually, technically speaking, the Bulldogs have a chance to go into the top 8 this weekend. However, there'd still be 1 win behind the Cowboys there when you're thinking about that long-term stature, right? So important game here for both teams, especially the Cowboys. Now, let's get into the round that you're going to be seeing this weekend. So we'll go through all the games. Then we'll get into today's game between the Cowboys and the Roosters, go through their lineups and also the run home for them, essentially. And then we'll get into the later, and then we'll get into the chat and see what you are saying. Game starts in 15 minutes' time. So do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you are new around here. Yes, I'm still in Almaty in Kazakhstan. I've been just diabolically. I've been sick for a little bit now, as you guys would have known with my coughing stuff last week. It's not as bad now because I've recognized what it was doing that. So it's not as bad, but if I do mute, it's because I'm still getting past this sickness, but I've got a massive, amazing view of the mountains here in Almaty. Beautiful. I'm right here in the mountains now as well. So the only thing that I worry about is the internet, because there has been a few troubles over the last 24 hours with this internet. So hopefully, touch wood and praise God, everything does work smoothly. But let's get into the game today. So the Cowboys, obviously the first game against the Roosters up in North Queensland. This should be an interesting one, but could easily end up being a blowout as well, specifically more so to the Roosters, but the Cowboys did beat them at Magic Round, 18-12, where the Roosters had about 20 errors in that game, which is just absolutely diabolical, man. That is just absolutely unacceptable. So the Roosters, I guess, maybe looking for a little bit of revenge there, and they also need to, get underway here. Actually, we'll speak more about this in a second. We'll go to the other games, but the Roosters need to really show to the Sharks that they're here to play as well, because right now, Cronulla's the only team that have made a statement. They are the only team, as we currently speak, that have made a statement, and that was last week against Manly, and winning 8 out of their last 9 games. So the Roosters, they need to really get up here, and they need to get up well. Now, then we move over to tomorrow, which is the Dragons taking on the Dolphins in Wollongong. Obviously, Dragons making a whole bunch of signs for next year, but the spoon is pretty much confirmed after their loss to the Titans last week. And the Dolphins, obviously, they need to set a bit of a statement, and they need to keep on chugging along to put themselves back up into that top 4 and compete with the Sharks, the Warriors, and the Roosters. So, look, you would ultimately expect a pretty convincing win for the Dolphins here, but they have been slippery recently. They have been slippery lately, so you never know, but ultimately you'd be probably looking towards the Dolphins there. Then we've got a massive game tomorrow night. Now, this is do or die for both teams to mine. Bulldogs versus the Storm down there in Melbourne. This is a massive, massive game because the Storm, if they lose, they are officially out. If the Bulldogs lose, well, look, they're pretty much out. They've got to win, I think it's 5 out of the remaining 6 games. It would mean they would have to win 5 out of the remaining 5 games if they were to lose, and I just don't think that happens. So ultimately, whoever wins tomorrow still is in with a technical chance. Whoever loses tomorrow, gee whiz, they're probably done for the season. And then we go to the Saturday games. We start off with the mighty Gold Coast Titans taking on the New Zealand Warriors. Titans obviously in a little bit of form recently, which has been nice. Warriors on the opposite side of that in not amazing form, but at the end of the day, you would expect the Warriors to go and get the job done there. However, the Titans in recent years, since 2020, have had a pretty good record against them, so that's an interesting one there on Saturday, but not a great deal to play for, but the Warriors need to get themselves back and moving again, because we are getting close to the finals now, and it's starting to feel a little bit like last year with New Zealand Warriors right now, where they lost Luke Metcalf and Mitchell Barnett, and they just fell off a cliff last year. Well, this year, they lose a guy like Jackson Ford, and they've also lost Tanner Boyd, and they're looking at a very similar place. So, look, that's a very big game there for the Warriors to get the job done. And then you've got the Panthers versus the Raiders on Saturday. This is probably the game of the round. I would say out of all the games, this should be the big one. That's at Mudgee, because Panthers, obviously, they're in first. If they lose, well, they're not going to be dropping out of first position, points differential-wise, but at the end of the day, the Sharkies would be potentially one win behind them by the end of the weekend if they win against the Rabbitohs. And the Warriors, if they beat the Titans, the same thing. And the Roosters would actually be equal on wins with them. It's just their points differential is 200 separated. So the Panthers need a win there, and they really need to get into some form themselves. Whilst the Raiders, if they lose, gee whiz, they're done-a-runo, man. They are, especially with the fact they've still got a bye to come, they are done-a-runo. They would have to win 4 out of their remaining 4 games, and it's just like, yikes. And they've been in some great form. So I'm really looking forward to that Panthers-Raiders game on Saturday. And then Broncos-Knights, not much playing for the Broncos except for pride after their loss last week to the Cowboys. The Knights, obviously, they are teetering on the edge of the top 8. They've lost Dylan Brown. They've lost Dylan Lucas. They're in a situation where they're not guaranteed for the top 8 quite just yet. Then on Sunday, Sharks-Rabbitohs, massive game here, 4th versus 6th. The Sharks are looking to continue their absolute form at the moment. At this point of the season, the Sharkies have been absolutely fantastic to watch, which is not something you usually say about them. And the Rabbitohs, they're looking to stay inside the top 8. Because right now, they're actually the ones with the least amount of wins in the top 8 with 10. The Cowboys, the Knights, and the Dolphins all have 11 wins. The Rabbitohs are only 1 win in front of Manly and also the Bulldogs. So they've just had all 3 of their byes, which is separating them right now. The Rabbitohs, they're in desperate need. And obviously, they've lost quite a few players. So we'll see how that one pans out. And then we've got the game of the round, the West Tigers taking on Parramatta. Geez, I don't know how we're going to survive that one on Sunday, lads. That is just going to be diabolical. I actually get a feeling the Tigers might surprise. I don't know what it is. I just get a feeling they might, but I could also see the Eels winning 13+. You just never know what's going to happen with this game, to be honest with you. It honestly is going to be all over the shop. It's going to be just absolute dread to finish off the weekend with that one, but it is what it is. And then obviously the bye is Manly, which you could argue comes at a good time for them considering their form, but also you don't really want to have a bye at this time of the season if you are fighting for the top 8. But let's get into this game here today between the Cowboys and the Roosters. The Cowboys are in 8th position. The Roosters are in 2nd position. And this is the Queensland Country Bank Stadium in Townsville. The ins for the Cowboys, Kai O'Donnell and Caden Lars, with the outs being Griffin Neem and Reid Marnie. You go to the fullback, which is Scotty Drinkwater, with the wingers being Braden Burns and Murray Taulangi. Centers of Zach Labour and Tom Chester. 5'8", Jake Clifford, with the halfback being Jackson Purdue. Front row forwards with Thomas McKaylee and Jason Tamalolo. The number 9 is Sonny Luke. Back row of Hillam Lukey and Jeremiah Nene, with the 13 being Ruben Cotter, who was the captain. Then you go to the interchange of Ethan King, Matty Lodge, Cohen Hess, Sam McIntyre, Caden Lars, and Kai O'Donnell, with the coach being Todd Payton. And I've just realised that Ashley Klein is the referee tonight, so God bless both of these 2 teams. But look, the Cowboys, they are, and I know Cowboys fans hate when I say this, they are the strangest team in terms of statistically, it doesn't actually make sense a great deal for a lot of their results this season. However, they still just have the results. So to point this in the right direction for people who might be confused by what I'm saying here, the Cowboys on the attack have scored 442 points this year. So that's behind the Panthers, the Roosters, the Warriors, the Sharks, the Dolphins, the Rabbitohs, the Knights, Manly, the Storm, and that's it. So they are in 10th position for the attack so far this season. Reminder, they are in 8th. And then you go to the defense, where they've given up 470 points this year. They're behind the Panthers, the Roosters, the Warriors, the Sharks, the Dolphins, the Rabbitohs, the Knights, the Bulldogs, Manly, equal with the Raiders, Storm, Titans as well, just in front of the Broncos there. They're basically equal 11th or 12th off. I can't remember how many teams I just went through there. They're basically equal 11th or 12th for defense. So the fact is that they do have 11 wins and they are in the top 8. But the fact is as well is that they have a 10th ranked attack and an 11th, 12th ranked defense. And you're just like, well, usually you try to equate, like, for example, with the Knights, you've seen really positive attack. It's kind of coming back now, but you've seen really positive attack and you've seen pretty poor defense, and it's kind of equaled out to be where-ish they are right now. And you've got other teams that, obviously the teams at the top, they have a really good attack and a really good defense, and it makes sense. Teams at the bottom, kind of the same. But with the Cowboys, they are, quite a few spots lower than where their spot actually is. And when you look at the Cowboys this year, they're not an exciting team. They're not an amazing team to watch, but they just seem to get results. Now, they're not going to be winning the comp this year by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think even maybe devout Cowboys fans might believe it, but I think most Cowboys fans understand that, look, this is a positive season for them regardless. This is a positive for you because most people had you down there in the bottom four. I had you down there in the bottom four, and most people actually had you for in the spoon alongside teams like potentially the Knights and potentially the Dragons and potentially the Manly Seagulls and whatnot. You saw a lot of people tipping these teams down there at the end of the table. But the Cowboys, obviously, they are into the top 8. They are in 8th position. So regardless, it doesn't really matter how you get into the top 8. It doesn't really matter how you win your games. At the end of the day, as long as you win your games and you give yourself a chance for that top 8 and anything can happen in the finals, brilliant. That's the main thing. But it does still need to be spoken about in terms of if you do make the top 8, well, you can clearly see via the stats there that they're not really going to be doing anything. And then that kind of shows to you, I guess, what's really a great deal of the point there. But overall, the Cowboys are solid without being amazing. And they're okay without being really poor. They're just a really middle ground team. And they're in a bit of an interesting spot going forward into next year as well. I can't believe Todd Payton was re-signed. But, the point is that they do have guys like Tom Chester who've been a breakout this year. Scotty Drinkwater is really got in the attack, not so much on the defense. He's off to the Dragons next year. The halves are... Jake Clifford needed to be in the team. I don't know why he wasn't there 2 weeks ago, but you saw what he did last week for the Cowboys. Against the Broncos, they did really miss him there. Obviously, they're without Tom Dearden, and there's rumours right now that he might be moving down to Sydney in the next couple of years. Jason Tamalolo getting towards the back end now, even though he's had a fantastic year. They've got actually a pretty quality forward pack on paper. And their backline's just the really inconsistent one. It's the 1 through 7 that really gets a lot of inconsistency going there. But overall, this Cowboys team does have the ability to win a game like this here today. They absolutely do. They could keep it close. They could grind it out. They could win 18-12 like they did in Magic Round. But, you still have that real hesitancy in regards to seriously backing them in because, they can have a really diabolical game like they did against the Dolphins, 36-16. The game against the Warriors where they lost 38-20, or the Dolphins where they lost 40-14, or the Raiders where they lost 26-12. They lost the Eels 33-30. These games really do leave a sour taste in your mouth. But at the end of the day, they did go and beat the Panthers 26-12. That was a great result there. They did beat Manly, but it's a bit of whatever considering their form. They beat the Broncos, and it's absolutely whatever considering their form, besides the fact that they obviously did beat the Panthers, but the Panthers' form isn't exactly too great themselves, has all 3 of the Titans, Broncos, and Cowboys all beat the Panthers in about 4-week stretch. So, this Cowboys team just gets results, right? And today is a very, very important result for them to get. Ultimately, they play the Titans next week, which you realistically would be expecting the Cowboys to be getting the job done there, up there on the Gold Coast. The Cowboys would be favourites coming into that game, but it's also a little bit of a tricky one considering the Titans' form right now. But if you go through the rest of the season, so the Cowboys, they're on 11 wins right now with 26 points. They've got a bye to come. So they only need the 2 more wins to put themselves on the 32 points. But also, there's no guarantee with 32 points that you actually make it based off of points differential. But if their run home, they play the Titans away, the Eels away, the Cowboys get a bye, the Tigers at home, and the Raiders away. Raiders at home. That is by far the easiest stretch home imaginable. So outside of this game today, it's actually not even that much of a necessity to win this game here. Because if you don't make the 8 from here, it's embarrassing. That would be embarrassing. To be on 11 wins with, just a short amount of time here to play. Because you've only got the 1 bye, but you've got 5 games to go. You play 13th, you play 15th, you play 16th, and you play 11th. There is no excuses here for the Cowboys. all they've got to do is win 2 wins out of those games, provided they lose it tonight. All they're going to do is win 2 games out of the Titans, Eels, Tigers, and Raiders. Tigers couldn't buy a win right now. The Eels are a shambles. The Titans are improving, but, ultimately you'd be favouring yourselves against them. And the Raiders, they've looked actually quite good, and that could be a bit of a trickier one on the basis that they might be fighting for the top 8 against you guys, actually. They may be actually fighting for a top 8 position against you guys in round 27, which would be actually a pretty mental game to think about that up there in Townsville. But yeah, look, it would be quite embarrassing if the Cowboys didn't make the top 8 from here on the basis of who they've got to play outside of tonight, who is obviously the second place Roosters. But then again, you did beat them at Magic Round, so we'll see how that pans out. Now, let's look over to the Roosters, where the ins are Reece Foley and Tommy Talau, the outs are Billy Smith and Daniel Tupou. Fullback James Tedesco, who is the captain, with the wingers being Tommy Talau and Mark Nowanatawase, centres of Hugo Savala and Robert Toya. 5'8", Daly Cherry Evans, with the halfback being Sam Walker. Front row forwards are Nafahu White and Celeste Faketi. Number 9 is Reece Robertson. Back row of Nat Butcher and Siwa Wong, with the 13 being Victor Radley. And then you go to the interchange. Spencer Leniu, Connor Watson, Egan Butcher, Taylor Lasalu, Cody Ramsey and Reece Foley, with the coach being Trent Robinson. The Roosters, they're in the top 8. They're on 13 wins. They should be on fraud alert, but I just can't do it considering that they are still getting wins. But my goodness me, Roosters, they haven't had a convincing win in ages, to be fair. The Knights game last week was diabolical, and Roosters fans online have been saying, we're winning games, but if they feel like a loss, they've won 23-22 over the Knights, whatever. They won 14-6 over the Storm, whatever. They won 28-18 over the 28-12 over the Eels, and you're just like, yikes. At least it was 16 points, but still yikes. The Broncos game where they won 24-18, that was okay, sure, you got the job done. The last convincing win for the Roosters, and this was a really good result actually, was when they won 27-8 over the Sharks, because that's the only loss the Sharks have had in the last 9 weeks, mind you. That one right there is the only loss that they've had in the last 9 rounds. So that's actually a pretty impressive win for them there. But also before that, they lost 48-10 to the Dolphins. Now, both teams were without Origin players, but again, both teams were without Origin players. And then you go back to when they won 26-0 over the Raiders, and that was a really, really good performance. So, look, you go across all those games, and you say the Sharks game was very impressive. The Raiders game was very impressive. Outside of that, you're just like, well, they did enough against the Eels, so I guess you can include that, but it wasn't amazing. But the other games, they're just getting results. So I really need to see them set the platform here today. I need to see the Roosters say we deserve to be where we are, because there is a lingering sense of and feeling, and it's like, okay, you're there, but are you really the second best team in the competition right now? Are you really? And again, I predicted this team to actually win the comp pre-season. I predicted the Roosters to win a minor premiership, and they've got still a chance of that. And, I got clowned on because I was buying too heavily into Cherry Evans, and I was buying too heavily into the Roosters team that can under-deliver and can underwhelm. And I was like, no, I'm going to back in the Roosters, and I expected more from them this season. I'm not going to lie. Yes, they're in second position, but I still am wanting more. I'm still expecting more here from the Sydney Roosters team that have an absolutely stunning lineup. They do. So they should be coming in here today, and they should be winning this game here 13+, because again, you look at the points differentials here. So 4 on the attack, the Roosters have 449 points scored so far this season. Well, that's with a less game than the Cowboys, and they've got 7 more points than the Cowboys with 1 less game. So the Roosters, their attack isn't actually that spectacular, realistically. They're well behind. They're well behind the Panthers, well behind the Warriors. They're well behind the Sharks. They're still decently behind the Dolphins, well behind the Rabbitohs. They're behind the Knights. They are in front of the Cowboys there. Again, this is with 1 less game. But the thing is that you look at the teams I mentioned there, the Panthers, the Roosters, the Sharks, the Dolphins, and the Rabbitohs, they've all played 18 games as well. So when I say the Roosters are well behind them attacking-wise, that is with the same amount of games played. It is with the same amount of games played. So let's actually do the math here. Behind the Panthers, behind the Warriors, behind the Sharks, behind the Dolphins, behind the Rabbitohs, they are behind the Knights, and that probably stays the same way unless they get a massive win today, because the Knights are 481. They are behind the Seagulls. Man, I can't believe Manly as high as they are, they're attacking-wise, but they are in 7th right now, and then that is it. So they are the 7th best attacking team in the competition, And then you go and have a look at defensively, where the Roosters have conceded 364 points. That's behind the Panthers considerably. The Warriors pretty considerably as well, 60-odd points. Is behind... No, that's it. They're the third best defensive team in the comp. That's actually crazy to think about. So the Roosters are the third best defensive team in the competition, but their attack is at the seventh best attacking team in the competition. That would usually equate to around, the 4-5 range, but they are up there in second. And this is why it's feeling right now like this Roosters team isn't actually the second best team in the competition. And there is a lot of really trying to understand how all these teams' vibes are right now. Literally every single team, actually even inclusive of the Panthers. Every single team right now, there's a little bit of a soul check where we're trying to figure out, what are you? Well, what actually are you as a team? The Roosters, at the very least, they're winning their games. I need to see you dominate someone, like what the Sharks did. We were seeing the Sharks get past a lot of those teams, but we want to see them dominate because the Sharks were in a similar position to what the Roosters were, where they were just kind of getting wins and they were just there or thereabouts. But at the very least, the Sharks are the second best attacking team in the competition right now, and defensively, they're the fourth best defensive team in the competition. So that should equal them to basically where they are, 3-4-2 range. And this is why we talked about the Cowboys before in regards to kind of what those attack and defense numbers do usually put you into. Well, they're above that where they probably should be. The Roosters are slightly above where they probably should be, and the Sharks are slightly below or exactly where they should be. And this is why they're important. But at the end of the day, they just get wins. At the end of the day, the results, the 2 points is all that matters. And we question the Roosters, but we can question every single team on this 17 right now. And the reason why we can question the Sharks still is because they're Cronulla. And I've watched this story before. I've seen this Netflix episode many a time before with Cronulla, where they'll sell you a lie, they'll sell you a dream, and then they'll be straight on scan in about 2 seconds. That's what they do. Wouldn't even... it's got writing on the wall they lose the Rabbitohs this week, but I'm still probably going to tip the Sharks, but it's got writing on the wall. Sharks and the Roosters are the same team for mine. They're both teams that can be absolutely quality, but are just the definition of scam. But anyway, the run home for the Roosters, again, don't have to worry about them getting to 13 wins. They're already there. Cowboys this week away, Bulldogs at home, Panthers away, Tigers at home, Dolphins at home, and Rabbitohs away. You love this for the Roosters. This is the opposite of what the Sharks have got. The Sharks got a really, really easy stretch home. You want this kind of schedule coming into the finals. So this is exactly what you want. The Cowboys are a top 8 team away from home, fighting for it. The Bulldogs are going to be playing at Allianz, but in Sydney against a team that is really fighting for it as well. Guys are top 8. The Panthers, obviously first versus second. That's absolutely gigantic. The Tigers game, you get that little bit of an easier matchup there, so it's not just hectic. Then you get the Dolphins, which is a very tough game, second versus fifth. And then you take on your arch nemesis, your arch rivals, the Rabbitohs, in round 27. I just get a little bit scared they might rest their players for that. But overall, you want that kind of schedule going to the finals because we're getting to the serious business, baby. We're getting to the real serious damn well end of this season. So you want to take on the best so that you're ready and you're not taking on teams like the Titans and the Dragons and the Tigers and all these type of teams on a regular basis. You don't want to play them right now. You want to play the teams that I just mentioned. So I think if you're the Roosters, you should be pretty happy that is your run home. But look, in a prediction tonight, look, again, statistically, this should be a 13-plus blowout for the Roosters. Statistically, and again, they've got to really set a platform and say, we are deserving of our second-place position, and regardless of the fact that we haven't been winning games by an amazing margin, and looking confident whilst doing it, they've got to get rid of the errors. They have to use this game as a platform for them. Whilst the Cowboys, obviously, they should be playing it hard, but I've seen this story many times before with the Cowboys as well. They could get absolutely blown out. We saw it against Manly. We've seen it against teams throughout this season where I feel like it's actually up in North Queensland more often than not. I don't know if they have a great record up in North Queensland this year, do they? What is their record up in North Queensland? No, they are 6-3. They are 6-3, but at home. But what? There's been a couple of blowouts. Yeah, Tigers, they lost 44-16. And they went on a pretty good run. And then they lost 38-6 in North Queensland. That's right. They lost 33-30 to the Eels in North Queensland. That's where I'm getting it from. And then they lost 40-14 to the Dolphins in North Queensland. Yeah, so there has been some games this year up here in North Queensland where you're just like, ooh, they can be a little bit shaky. They played against the Broncos last week and won, but this is a very different team here today. to the Broncos. So, look, I'm going to back in a Roosters 13-plus win. I don't know why I'm doing it. I don't even necessarily want to do it, but I just get a bit of a gut vibe that the Sharks set a statement last week, and now it's time for these other three teams to set a statement at the top. I think all three of those teams are now on the chase of Cronulla, and that's a weird thing to say right now, but they are. And I think that this is a game the Roosters could and should win, but could and probably should win by a bigger margin. Cowboys fans will hate that, but if you've listened to what I've said here, you'd understand why I come to that reasoning. And then when you look at the teams above that are all playing other teams, the Panthers, they're playing the Raiders. That's a tough one. Roosters playing the Cowboys. That is a tough one. Warriors playing the Titans. It's a tricky one. And the Sharks obviously playing the Rabbitohs, which is a tricky one, but it is also one of the easier matchups overall. Titans obviously the easiest, but overall, those top four teams, they're going to start getting a move on. And the Sharkies, have they peaked too early? That's a big question to ask, to be fair. Have they peaked too early? Hopefully not, but there is always a possibility of it with the old Cronulla. But let's move now into the ladder, where the Roosters, they are in second position on 32 points. They've got plus 85. They are on their own 32 points. If they win this game, well, they would go to equal first with the Panthers. The Panthers get to still play the Raiders this week, and they've got a plus 284 points differential. So the Roosters would have to win this game by quite literally, on the dot, 200 points to go above the Panthers. That won't be happening, obviously. So the Roosters, no matter what this weekend, will finish in second. The only possibility is there's a 100-point win for them and a 100-point loss for the Panthers against the Raiders. That'd be just insane, considering that we've never seen a 100-point win before. But Roosters will be in second position, but again, they'll be equal first, and they get to play each other in just 2 weeks' time, which would just be gigantic. So it would keep the pedal to the metal, son, and it would keep the foot down to the Panthers' throat there in regards to keep them honest at the top. If they lose this game, however, well, that's where it gets a little bit dicey for them, because if the Warriors beat the Titans, they're on plus 190 points differential. Bing, Warriors got above them in second position. Roosters go to third. And the Sharkies beat the Rabbitohs. Well, they got a plus 161 points differential. Bing, they will go up into third position, potentially second position, depending on how much they were to win by. So the Roosters could, regardless of all that though, the Roosters points differential, not good enough. So they will go to fourth position if they were to lose. And now if the Dolphins go and beat the Dragons, well, they're not going to get to the same amount of points as the Roosters, but they'll only be one win away from the Roosters, and there's no guarantee the Roosters are even going to finish top four if they were to lose this game. So very important that they don't lose this game. They don't need to win by 13 plus, like I said that they probably could be today. They just need to win this game. So they could actually have one of those really mediocre and underwhelming wins, and honestly, they wouldn't really give too much of a shit about, because it just come back to next week. Okay, now you're going to set the platform. Now you're going to set the foundation. Now you've got to really push on with this back end of the season. So even winning by 1 point here today is still completely sweet. Or winning in a very underwhelming 8-point win or 4-point win is still completely sweet from the Roosters' end. Then you move down to the Cowboys, and a loss is definitely not sweet on their end. Well, they're on 26 points, which is equal with the Knights and the Rabbitohs. The Cowboys have a minus 28 points differential. The Knights have a plus 36 points differential, and the Rabbitohs have a plus 78 points differential. So the Cowboys do have the worst points differential of the lot. They have the worst points differential, not of everyone competing, because the Bulldogs are minus 58 and Raiders are minus 35. But the Cowboys with a win would, for the time being, go above the Knights into 7th. They would also go above the Rabbitohs into 6th, and then they would go equal with the Dolphins on 5th, but the Dolphins have a plus 84 points differential and get to play the Dragons. So the Knights, the highest they can finish this weekend is in 6th. But again, that points differential isn't great, because if the Rabbitohs win, they got a plus 78, they'll go back above him. And if the Knights win, they got plus 36, they go back above them. And the Rabbitohs play the Sharks, Knights play the Broncos, probably tipping the Sharks, probably tipping the... I actually probably am tipping the Broncos this week up there at Suncorp. It's going to be an interesting one. So there is a world that the Cowboys still finish this round in 6th, which would be huge for them. But with a win, anywhere between 6, 7, and 8. With a loss, however, now this is where it will hit you right in the old sternum. So with minus 28... they've got the buffer on the Bulldogs at the very least. There would need to be a swing of 30 points, because the Bulldogs are on minus 58. Now, first off, the Bulldogs would have to beat the Storm. They're on 24 points right now. They would have to win to get to 26. That would be equal to Cowboys. And then we'd have to see a collective result of Cowboys losing by, let's say 16 and the Dogs winning by, let's say 14, 30-point swing, the Dogs would actually go into the top 8 this week. Now, the Dogs will still be one win behind the Cowboys, but they've had all three of their buys, right? So it means that they would be in a pretty healthy condition still, the Cowboys, but the bye only matters if the Bulldogs then thus lose. Because if the Bulldogs keep on winning, then the bye doesn't actually mean jack shit. Because when they have the bye, the Dogs win and their points differential is better, and then it just keeps on moving and grooving in their favour. So you just don't really want to be losing this game at all. Like, of course you don't, but you definitely don't want to on the basis that then it would bring Manly back into the equation. It would also bring the Raiders really into the equation, but they've got a tough game against the Panthers this week. Manly have a bye. I just hate the bye this time of the season for Manly. That is such a really... I know it can... restart you, maybe refresh you and get you going again. But I just hate it at this time of the season for Manly. It would still keep the Storm in it as well because they're 3 wins behind the Cowboys. But I guess one of the Bulldogs or Storm will lose this week, so that'll kind of essentially knock them out. So yeah, look, overall, the Cowboys don't want to lose this game. You just don't. And if you do lose this game, don't lose it by the 13 plus that I was talking about before. Do not lose it by that 13 plus. Because if you lose it by 13 plus, let's go and say you get blown out here. Let's go and say you get your back blown out and you lose by 20 to 24 points. Well, then the Cowboys would go to minus 48/minus 52. And the Dogs would only have to win by about 10 points. And they would go into the top 8. And again, I know you've got the bye, but if the Bulldogs just keep on winning, then you're in a dire space because it doesn't really matter if they just win. And their run home for the rest of the season. Well, they actually play the Roosters next week. So Storm this week, Roosters next week, Rabbitohs the week after, Dragons, Panthers, and the Broncos. Bit of a tricky schedule home there for the Dogs. But look, overall, Cowboys, you just want to win. Roosters, you don't care how you win, but you still should start to think about how you win. You should be... Oh, I can't wait to get rid of this cough, man. You still should be pretty happy. Actually, I don't even know what I was saying there. I got distracted by my cough. But look, Roosters, yeah, just win. Just find a way to win. But all right, guys, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Let's rock and roll with the chat. And let's see what you are saying. And if you disagree with anything I just said, please let me know in the chat. I look forward to hearing it. But don't just say, you're wrong. I want to hear why I'm wrong. Short Lawrence says, let's go. Tiger says, let's go the Cowboys. And he says, happy Thursday, everyone. How are we all? Got a beautiful view here of the Almighty Mountains. It is an absolutely stunning day. I am in a place that the internet is very dodgy, so I'm really scared about that here today. But I'm also, there's only one air conditioning unit in this apartment, and it is not in this room, it's in another room. And it's the middle of summer here in Kazakhstan, so it's quite spicy. It's quite spicy, so you won't be seeing me in any jumper or heavy shirts this weekend. Yeah, definitely lighter shirts, because otherwise I'll be sweating up a damn well storm. Jonathan says, let's go Cows. Tiger says, I get it. Sometimes good to just listen. Chat's a little slow. People are watching tonight. You've got to remember, man, not everybody... There is a lot of silent viewers here, right? We have a lot of people who don't actually actively get involved in the chat. There is probably... on a regular basis. And again, this point of the season is kind of when a lot of people click off as well in terms of rugby league, because unless it's a very high draw card, people are just waiting for finals at this point. They don't give a shit about, and this is with all due respect to the Dragons, I'm going to say the same thing about the Titans. They don't give a shit about the Dragons. They don't give a shit about the Titans. They definitely don't give a shit about the Tigers right now. The Eels, all these teams, because they can't do anything for their season. So the first half of the year, everybody's tuned in. And the second half of the year, especially in this point after Origin, as we're just waiting for the end of the regular season to draw down, you do find a lot more of the passionate aficionados who are actually just watching the games rather than your casuals, because it just doesn't mean too much. Like, you'll see a Panthers-Roosters game or a Panthers versus Warriors game in a few weeks. That'll get a whole bunch of people watching. But at this point of the year, there's just not much on offer for a lot of these games. Now, Roosters Cowboys is, but it's not a huge draw card in a lot of ways. There is a lot to play for the Cowboys, but nobody really cares too much about the Roosters either, because the Roosters are just up the top there, and there's just not a great deal going on. So that's why you've got to realise at this point of the year, you will find that there won't be as many people... No, this has nothing to do with my streams. There won't be as many people actually watching this point, but they'll just go from here to hear in the space of like a week when the finals are, or there's a really meaningful game. But again, you've got to remember with our channel as well specifically, we do have a lot of people who just listen in, who just watch on and they read your comments. I get Instagram messages from people like this all the time. I remember actually when I went to a Bulldogs game once, Bulldogs Titans down at Belmore. This was a really cool experience. I didn't even know what to do at the time. But I was out front and I was like filming an intro or something like that or doing something. And someone came up to me and said they love the content, they love the streams, they love the vlogs and whatnot. Bulldogs fan, older generation Bulldogs fan. Or it might have been, no, it wasn't my age. He was a little bit older than me. Anyway, he came up and he gave me, I think it was like $40 or something like that, $40 cash. I said, no, I'm all good, man. Like, you don't stress, bro. You don't need to do that. But he insisted. And he said he didn't know how to. No, so it was definitely older generation. But he insisted on giving me the $40 because he didn't know how to donate and he wanted to support the content. And I was like, well, it was a really awesome feeling, really, because again, nobody's expected to do something like that, especially not in person like that. And I had no idea how to deal with it at the time. Obviously, at the end of the day, I accepted his good graces, which was awesome. But you've got to remember there's a lot of people here who actually watch the streams who don't actually just actively get involved in the chat, because you've got to remember that there are people's names in this chat named Lag and Ballsacks, for example. You've also got damn well people with the most random names in existence, that not even random names, but like mildly offensive names that come up. So they just laugh in the background rather than actually getting actively involved in the chat. So yeah, they're still there though, man. They're still there and still just as important. Bretton says, "G'day, Mr. Worldwide. I think the Cows might get it done at home tonight." I personally disagree. I'm going Chooks by 13 plus. I'm going the complete opposite to you. Yep, Seb says Chooks by 13 plus. Cows can't put two decent performances together. That's a good point, actually. Let's go have a look at their recent results in regards to if that is completely true, though. So, they were much better against the Broncos. It wasn't amazing, but they were much better than against the Broncos. But they did lose that game to the Dolphins the week prior. I will be honest. Like, there was the Cowboys-Panthers game where they won 26-12. That was a great performance. I would not say the 19-18 win over Manly was a great performance, but they still won. So, like, there is two results in a row there, but it wasn't fantastic. They had to come back in the last 5 minutes of that game. And Manly's form have just been diabolical. So I will remove that. And if you do remove that, it does make a lot more sense in regards to what you're saying, because win against the Broncos by a decent enough margin. A loss against the Dolphins by 20. A win against the Panthers by 26-12. Loss against the Warriors 38-20. Loss against the Dolphins 40-14. Loss against the Raiders 26-12. 30-18 win over the Rabbitohs. And 18-12 win over the Roosters. That was probably a decent enough performance there. In recent weeks, anyway, since round 13, you're right, though. Since round 13, I would agree with that the Cowboys haven't been putting two good games on in a row. And I'd love to see Cowboys fans try to argue that Manly game, because that's quite diabolical in a lot of ways from both teams, but specifically, obviously, Manly. But yeah, for the most part, you are right. I just know the Cowboys fans probably argue the 19-18. Maven says, I think the Cows get home tonight. I feel like you're probably a Cowboys fan, but also good luck. Like, anything can happen. The Cowboys, they're more desperate than the Roosters are, for sure. They're way more desperate than the Roosters are. Brent says, Chooks can't put 80 minutes together either at the moment. Sure, but they're winning games, and they're winning games regularly, so you're right, but they are just simply doing the business. They beat the Knights 23-22, they beat the Storm 14-6, they beat the Eels 28-12, they beat the Broncos 24-18, they beat the Sharks 27-8, but then they did lose to the Dolphins 48-10, but they did beat the Raiders 26-0. So since round 14, because then you go back to the Storm loss 18-4, but since round 14, they have only lost one game. Them and the Sharks are the same team, man. The only difference is that the Sharks have gone and got a big win against Manly. But yeah, so 1-1, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1. They're currently 5 wins in a row, the Roosters. So it's like, whilst you're right as well, that they're not really putting 80 minutes together, ultimately they're still just winning games, and they are 5 games in a row, and they've won 6 out of their last 7 games. So it does need to be mentioned in regards to that. Chevy says, hope everyone had a ripper day. Surely Marky Mark scores in this one. He is due. I think he's probably first try scorer. I think he's probably early doors. I think they'll kick it out to him early, and I think that he's on Braden Burns' side, no. If he's on Braden Burns' side, I'd really, you'd probably be locking him in quite early, to be fair. Quite early. Footy Dad says, need Roosters to win for the Bulldogs' sake. Sure. I think your biggest one that you're looking towards is the Rabbitohs losing to the Sharks, because you've got to remember the Cowboys are still 2 wins above you. So it's like, yeah, okay, cool. You could win this, and you could win against the Storm, and the Cowboys could lose their game, but you'd still be 1 win behind them, and you need to win every game still. Whilst the Rabbitohs, you'd actually be equal with them on 10 wins. It's just they've had all 3 of their buys. Because you would be equal with them, but they got the better points differential. They have had 3 buys. You've obviously had 3 buys. So, no, you'd be equal with the Rabbitohs. You just want the Sharks to pound them. You're a big Sharks fan this week. Obviously, you know the Bulldogs beat the Storm, but you're a big Sharks fan this week. The more important team for teams outside the 8, Bulldogs, Manly, Raiders, Storm, the team that you're looking at right now is actually the Rabbitohs. It's not actually the Cowboys. Like, you can look at the vulnerability of the Cowboys and the Knights for sure, but they're still 1 win above the Rabbitohs. And if you're looking at the Knights and the Cowboys, well, then why aren't you looking at the Dolphins? Because the Dolphins, they're on 11 wins themselves. It's just their points differential. But the point of the matter is that, the Rabbitohs have only got the 10 wins. So they're the ones that you're ultimately should be eyeing off to be jumping in. Sam Jenkinson, for 31 months, says, who's this good-looking rooster, mate, with flying, son? Just wish I could get rid of this cough. Once I get rid of this cough, we are all Gucci, son. We are all Gucci, but I've still got it just for the time being. But like I said, I'm going to head off to the mountains, and I realised what was the issue. So I've limited that, and now we're going to be good to go. It's a lot less than it was over the last couple of weeks. It was bad. Michelle says, I'm going for the underdogs Cows, and if Roosters do lose, fraud alert. Oh, the Roosters will 100% go to fraud alert. They lose. 1,000,000%. They've been. You can make an argument for them being there now, but I'm just not going to do that until they lose. Ian says, Roosters were dependent on Dylan's injury to beat the Knights. Quite fancy the Cowboys on the handicap today. Again, I'm going to disagree with you. Sure. I think the Cowboys could win this game, but ultimately, I'm waiting for the Roosters I'm waiting for the Roosters to really put the foot down, and this could be a game they do it, or it could be next week, but then they play the Panthers. So they've got to really get rock and roll before that Panthers game. So it needs to be either this game or the next game, where they put the foot down and decide that it's time for them to dominate. That they really need to start doing that now for mine. So I could see the Roosters having a cracker game here, and really pillaging down the edge of Nuanatawase, and they've got a great 1 through 7, and they've got a great forward pack that can go toe-to-toe with the Cows, and the Cows' back line's inconsistent. So I am going to go the Roosters by 13 plus regardless. But sure, you can definitely argue that against the Newcastle Knights last week. Bruno says, you happy with the Cody signing for the Drags? Yeah, that's a great signing. I don't know what the Dolphins are doing. I have no idea why the Dolphins would not give him the contract that he's after. Michelle says, I don't think the Bunnies should be on fraud. They're doing better than I expected. Bullshit. The Bunnies shouldn't be on fraud. You're off your buddy head at the moment. There's no way. There's no way you don't have the Rabbitohs on fraud right now. They've got players out, but at the end of the day, the Storm game last week wasn't anything spectacular. They lost to the Raiders. They weren't spectacular against the Knights, but they got the job done. They got pumped by the Panthers. What to do? Went over the Eels there. They're not consistent at all. They go and beat Broncos 48-6, but the week beforehand they lost 28-14 to Manly. There's no way. They lost 30-18 to the Cowboys. No way. No way. They're still on 10 wins right now. They've got the least amount of wins in the top 8, and they're not looking anywhere near convincing at all recently. Nowhere near convincingly at all. So the Rabbitohs have still got no Latrell Mitchell. They've got no Cody Walker. Not Cody Walker. They've got no Latrell Mitchell. They've got no Cameron Murray. They've got, they've obviously gone Dufty instead of Jai Great. Point of the matter is, you have to be a Rabbitohs fan to think that. The Rabbitohs are definitely well deserving of being on the old fraud. The old fraudy McFraud. Brendan says, I'd be more interested in how Metcalf will go. I think Cody has been that guy in the past, slot for teams to do well. I think that, I don't know about Metcalf. Metcalf was really solid at the Warriors. He became overrated in a lot of ways. And the reason I say this is because, again, as you guys know, if you've been watching my streams, I always pointed out the Warriors, when they had Metcalf in their team, were actually 11th for attack, regardless of being the top 4. It was just their defense was like the second best defense in the competition behind the Bulldogs. So their defense was amazing, whilst the attack was actually really struggling, but they were still getting results, and obviously it caught up with them at the end of the season. Well, you're starting to see a very similar situation this year. You're starting to see a very similar situation where once they... Well, not even... It's actually a similar situation in a lot of differences. Like, they're going through the same troubles attacking-wise without Tanner that they have with... now they have with Shamil Harris-Tavita and Tamati Martin. But Luke Metcalf isn't actually as much of a guarantee as I feel like people believe he is. Like, he's going to go there, and sure, he can do a job, and sure, he could be great for the Dragons in a better situation where they've got a bit more of a high emphasis attack. They've got no defense, the Dragons. They've still got no defense. Their signings aren't defensive signings. Philip Salmi's not a defensive signing. Scott Drinkwater's definitely not a defensive signing. Metcalf's not exactly a defensive signing, but he's still solid enough on the old defense. Keon Klamatangi, sure, will do a job there, and he'll make plenty of tackles overall. And they've got a few plays coming in, but it's not like this Dragons team looks defensively minded at all. So yeah, they might become a team like the Dolphins did in the last couple of years, where the Dolphins was just heavy attack and just said chase us down, and teams would chase them down. So I really hope that Dean Young does focus on the defense, despite the fact that he's got a heavily offensively minded roster. Michelle says, Cows need this win, go hard or go home. Seb says, Newcastle fire Eddie Howe. Yeah, I did see that. Crazy. I'm bringing them the LLE manager. Okay. Man got dogs. It's in the Roosters. Well, left edge defense is poorer without Tupou. Of course, you're going Tommy Talau and Hugo Savala there rather than Daniel Tupou and Hugo Savala. I would say probably. I don't have the stats in front of me, so maybe you could be luring me down a false sense of security here, where you then say, well, their defense is now actually better. But off the top of my head, of course, I'm going to be thinking that Daniel Tupou is a better defender and a better everything than Tommy Talau, who is a player across multiple clubs that he's been at. Rosby says, defensive match today? Shouldn't be. Cowboys win by 15 plus today? What the hell are you smoking? Cosmic says, what NRL team has the hardest run home, you reckon? I'd need to go through all the draws, man. I'd need to go through all the draws. But, I don't know off the top of my head. Seb says, 2 very contradictory statements there, Rosbeef. Yeah, well, smoking something with the Cowboys 15 plus, and also defensive match. I don't know what they're just completely opposite questions, and also I would go the complete opposite on both of those. I'd go the complete opposite on both of those. As let's go Roosters. Good luck. They're about to come out now. This is the highest on the ladder Bunnies have been in years. A fraud is a team you expect to be good. No, Michelle, you've completely got it wrong. I'm aware you're a Rabbitohs fan, you try to defend it, but no, that's just not how it works out. A fraud is a team who is playing it like a bottom 9 team that's in the top 8. Bingo. That is essentially who is currently playing like a bottom 9 team that's going to top 8. It has nothing to do in regards to what you just said. Also, you're deeping it way too much, but also I'm pretty certain I know that you're a Rabbitohs fan, which is why you're going heavily on this, but you're wrong. You're wrong in regards to one. This is my opinion, so it doesn't matter in regards to you saying that it's wrong, because your opinion, sure, you don't have them on fraud, but you're also a Rabbitohs fan, so maybe take the understand the opinion of what a neutral is trying to tell you. The Rabbitohs are definitely a team that should be on fraud right now. That doesn't necessarily mean that they will fall out of the top 8, and it doesn't necessarily mean jack shit, really. It's just an opinion. The Warriors are going to finish in the top 8 this year, but at the end of the day, they're not playing like a top 8 team as we currently speak. The Rabbitohs aren't. The Dolphins haven't been recently, besides their win over the Cowboys. And the Knights don't even start me on them. So, again, I get you're a Rabbitohs fan, but you just move past this, because that's not true what you just said. Sean says, good afternoon, mate, and good evening all. Get on your Shawno. So the Roosters and Cowboys are walking out of the field. Is there a special ceremony or something like that? What's the special moment here? There's is this a round? Is this Indigenous round? No, it's not. No, what round is this? Because you've got the Are we on Indigenous round? Because you've got the didgeridoo going off in the background, and they're both walking out slowly together rather than running out of the field. Am I missing something? Tyson's up the cows. Well, good luck. Nate says, "G'day, big fella. Looking forward to the future. Dragons Premiership winner Drinkwater have a blinder and hopefully pull off an upset." Well, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. There's a pre-match ceremony. This is Indigenous round, is it? Is this Indigenous round? Have we been... I think it's just a special ceremony for Indigi Week. Oh, so maybe it's next week Indigenous round then. I don't know, because we had Women in the League round last week and there was absolutely nothing to tell us this. There was nothing to tell us this until we saw that it was Women in the League round. Welcome to Country round. Well, that doesn't even make sense. We're not going to have a Welcome to Country round and an Indigenous round. Site for a good round of footy and also WWE, Super Slam. Tyson's not even an upset playing versus Roosters easy for the Cows. Definitely an upset. Definitely an upset. This has to be something. There's no such thing as a Welcome to Country round. What? Every week is, Nate says. They're doing a Welcome to Country right now, but it's not a Welcome to Country round. Oh man, could you imagine the blow up in regards to that? Could you imagine? But we are just waiting for this to get underway, and then we'll be starting one up. Oh boy, hopefully we get a good weekend though. Hopefully we get some good matches. We had some pretty fun matches last week, to be fair. Fun fact is, how are we doing today? We are waiting for the game to start. Jerseys are special as well. Yeah, the jerseys are special. There has to be something special about this weekend. Unless this is just an individual thing with the Cowboys. Shavane says here back in the day, I think the Roosters win this game 13+, but I could also see, well, but they disappoint greatly and win 1-12, or disappoint greatly and win 13+, and lose by 1-12. I don't think the Roosters lose this game 13+, but there is a world that any other result happens. I don't think there's a world that they lose 13+, though. Still got the Welcome Country on right now. Get it, Brenton. Welcome to Country Round doesn't exist. No, I know, Vonnie. That's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, there's no such thing as a Welcome to Country Round. You can't have an Indigenous round and a Welcome to Country round. So that was a Welcome to Country, but I'm just trying to figure out, there has to be like a special significance for it. So Sam said it's because it's Indigenous Week or something like that. It's Indigenous Week, maybe. I'm not too sure. Well, if it is Indigenous Week, God bless all the Indigenous out there. I hope you have a great time. But I'm just trying to figure out what's going on there. But all right, the game is about to get rocking and rolling. Rocking and rolling. Roosters, you got to start to set a bit of a damn well statement, son. Pump the old side of North Queensland this week. Get that fraud alert ready for the cockadoodle-doos. It's always ready, Tigerwood. Mate, the fraud alert on the Roosters is always on the buddy. It's on thin ice at all times. At all times. At all times. It's NAIDOC week. Or then maybe that'd be it then. I wonder if it's all... I know the Cowboys obviously have a deep-rooted culture in terms of the Indigenous, with being up there in North Queensland. So I wonder if it's just them who are going to do the Welcome to Country to start it off, or it's going to be the entirety of the competition. Anytime, Wong, Mark, Nene, and Burns. Well, I've got any time game to kick off, and the Cowboys will kick it off to the Roosters, where they'll bring Nat Butcher to the 5 on first tackle. Do me a favour, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are new around here, and let's see if the Roosters can prove that they're in second position for a reason and go and slap down this old Cowboys outfit. Or let's see if the Cowboys are going to fire up here and, keep their top 8 run home on point. But Reece Robson with a great run all the way to the 35. Geez, that was awful in middle defence there from the Cowboys. And Robson with a cheeky little run to get him out of trouble. And Nafahu White now to the 48 on fit tackle. That was a huge hole there for Reece Robson to find early doors. Usually you find that kind of hole open up at the end when the opposition team is tired, but that was pretty early. Nace's Cows looking like the Titans in them jerseys. I see what you're trying to get at. I don't agree, but I see what you're trying to get at there. It definitely does look very different to what you would expect from the Cowboys. Third tackle. Indigenous round is round 23 and 24 according to Zero Tackle. This is all over the shop. Okay, yeah, so next week. Yeah, so round 23 and 24. Okay, so the reason why for round 23 and 24, by the way, guys, is so that every team can host an Indigenous round. So every team who is at home next week will be away the week after. I'm pretty certain that's how it is. And the Cowboys now, Scott Drinkwater. He'll get this ball to the 38 on fifth tackle. And he rolls it back into Sonny Luke. 29-metre gain. It's not great. Is in the disgusting category, but the Roosters will pick this ball up to Mark Nawana Tawase, and he'll take it out now to the 30 with a strong run on first tackle. Tuggles has got to give a shout out to everyone at the Commonwealth Games. Aussies have more golds than all other countries put together. Yeah, no, I've been seeing that. Obviously, I can't really watch it here in Kazakhstan, but I've been seeing that, and it's great to see that the Aussies are putting on a show. How you feeling, Sebi boy? How you feeling, Gaza? Hey? Sure, you put on a damn well show as per usual. Oh, my gosh. The Aussies, we just slap, we just bang, and you just can't stop us, son. The Roosters, nearly get through. Radley did get through. Offloads it. Reece Robson. James Tedesco. Tried sign for the Sydney Chook. It's way too easy. Way too easy right now. Just simply way damn well too easy. So it will be a try time for the Roosters. 4-0 here with a kick to come. It's 4-0 with a kick to come. Reece Robson, James Tedesco, Victor Radley, awful defence there from the Cowboys. They fall off it. Back to Reece Robson. Robson's crushed the Cowboys in his first 3 minutes, by the way. He has crushed them. He's had 2 line breaks in the first 3. Well, I don't know if that's his line break, but he's had... It might be Victor Radley's line break. Either way, it's been just diabolical here from the Sydney Roosters and the Cowboys in terms of their defense in the middle. See, someone else has said Cowboys wearing the Titans jerseys. I don't see it as much as you guys do. Like, this is like a teal. The Titans don't really wear teal. I'd say this colour is probably closer to like a Sharks blue than there's a Titans blue. No? Am I crazy here? I did hear this in regards to rumblings about Dearden moving to Sydney because of his wife. I did hear that. So 6-0 here to the Roosters. 4 minutes in. That is an ominous sign, Cowboys, because the first 4 minutes has been way too easy for the Roosters. Brent, I said Roosters 13 plus, right? No, you did not. You said Cowboys. No, you did not say that, Brenton. You said Cowboys 1-12. No. Jaden says, Blaze, do you think Cronulla peaked at the right time like everyone is saying? I partially agree, but also worry maybe we peaked a tiny bit too early. Grand finals still like 2 months away. So as you know, my mum's a Sharks fan, and she every week asks me if I think they'll win, and I give her an honest answer. I said, 1, this has the writing on the wall this week that the Rabbitohs go and win and the Sharks fall off a cliff. But I hope that that's not the truth. I'm going to tip the Sharks still because I've been really enjoying the way they're playing, and they could easily win that game by 40 as well against the Rabbits. But I do worry about them peaking too early because this is 8 out of their last 9 games. We've still got 6 rounds to go before finals. It's going to take a lot to keep this kind of form up for another, 6 rounds and then into 4 straight rounds of finals footy as well. So Roosters with the ball here at the 18 on first tackle. I do agree, and I said this to her, that I feel like the Sharkies may be peaking a little bit too early, but also we haven't really seen them peak in any specific moment across the last couple of years. Like, they've just been able to get to the preliminary finals, but there's never been really a pure peak of the Sharks. Reece Robson again crushed them up that middle. Fit tackle at 45. And now Sam Walker to Cherry Evans. So yeah, I worry that it's too early. Whenever the common consensus, whenever the NRL community comes together with like a common consensus, usually you go the opposite way to it. Usually you try to go the opposite way. So if they're all saying the Sharks are now peaking at the right time, I tend to go the opposite. But I also think the Sharks have been very quality across the last 2 months. And now the Cowboys will get this ball to the 23 on 4th tackle. The Roosters are really starting this game off incredibly strong. Incredibly strong. The Gold Coast Titans, the colours are kind of like the Chargers jersey makes sense. Yeah, it's Chargers, not Titans, but I'd say Chargers jersey, you could definitely say that they're wearing Chargers colours. James Tedesco now goes out to the right-hand side, and he'll get taken down to the 38. Oh, this is looking really scary with the Cowboys. They just don't look like the way they win games is through physicality. Right now, they're not showing an immense amount of physicality. Right now, they're not showing an immense amount about it. So it's going to be Robert Toya now to the 43 on third tackle. Like the Panthers game, they were very physical. That Broncos game, they were very physical. Right now, they're struggling for the physicality, and they're just getting absolutely manhandled in the middle of the park. They're not making many meters at all, and the Roosters are already at the 30 on fourth tackle. They go to the left-hand side now. It's going to be... That's a high tackle. No, they don't call a high tackle. 20 metres away here from the line for the Roosters. Robson to Sam Walker, and they're going to kick this ball across for Siwa Wong. Not a single Cowboy in sight there. What on earth was that? Roosters will get taken down here at the 3, but that is poor from the Cowboys. Not a single player was there to try and catch the ball. Oh, no. Oh, this is... Whose knock-on is this? Whose knock-on is this? Is knock-on Roosters? Oh, it's knock-on Roosters. Oh, my gosh. Cowboys are a mess today. Cowboys are a mess. You're lucky you didn't just give up the ball there with no one at marker 2 minutes out from your own line. They're lucky they didn't just give up the ball from Scott Drinkwater. How are you not watching that just now? How are you not watching that? Siwa Wong, if he gets down there earlier, it would have been a fresh set 2 minutes out. This is embarrassing anyway, Kipper Cronk. How is Scott Drinkwater not focusing on the play the ball? 2 minutes out from his own line. That is very lucky, Brenton, because Siwa Wong, if that was on the goal line, Siwa Wong scores there by just putting his hand down on the ball. Anyway, Cowboys ball at 13. Luckily, Scott Drinkwater got it last second, but geez, he's got to wake up. This Cowboys team has to wake up right now. Second tackle, and the Cowboys will be taken down at the 25. A few top teams need to put in a good performance this weekend. My Panthers, Wars, and Roosters. I think the Roosters do it this weekend, but I don't think it's a must for the Roosters, but I do think they need to do it before the Panthers game. So I think either this week or next week for the Roosters, they need to really put the foot down. For the Warriors, I think they've got this week, next week, and the week after, because then they play the Panthers. So as long as you put yourself into good stead before that Panthers game for those two teams, I think you're sweet. Sharks have already done what they've needed to do in terms of setting a bit of a statement. The Dolphins, they did the job over the Cowboys. They need to go and do it again. Like, their form hasn't been spectacular, so they need to go and do it again this week. And they're playing the Dragons, so God bless you, Dragons. God bless you. The Roosters now. Victor Radley to the 45. They're making bucket loads of meters, man. Cowboys are making no meters. James Tedesco now to the 45 on fourth tackle. And they go to the left-hand side. Numbers galore, numbers galore. They get the offload away to Tommy Talau. Tommy Talau gets away from Tom Chesty. He's still pushing. They'll be at the 25. Watch the kick to Nomatawase. Watch the kick to Mark Nomatawase here. Sam Walker. Sam Walker runs into the line. He'll get this ball across here to Siwa Wong. Siwa Wong's going to step back on the inside. Gets it across here to Sam Walker. They kick this ball into the corner. And that is going to just go dead for a 7-tackle set. Cowboys, you're in trouble right now. You need to wake up. Yeah, Sam Walker is blowing up at Martin Watawase for not chasing that ball through. Probably agree as well. And penalty here to the Cowboys. No, I think he's right. Yeah, Walker was giving Mark an earful. Deserved. Mark had to chase that ball, but he didn't. Mark doesn't chase that ball anywhere near hard enough there. Like, it's not an amazing kick there from Sam Walker, but Mark should have done way better in terms of getting up for it. Yeah, he's telling him to run. Yeah, good on Sam Walker there. He's blowing up at him, and it's right to be blowing up at him there too. They've got him on the back foot. How do you think the Titans will go to Moz? We play on Saturday, not tomorrow. I think that it could be spicy. I don't know. We could either get blown out by an absolute mozza, or we could get a surprise win. The Warriors are not playing in great form. Titans are in a lot better form, and hopefully we can go get the job done. But obviously, you would lean with the Warriors regardless. And just hope for the upset there. Straight. Oh, Jeremiah Nene taken down with a great tackle from Reece Robson. He's lost the ball there. Oh, dude, I don't agree with that one. He's lost that ball cold. No Ashley Klein. No Ashley Klein. He lost that ball cold just then, man. 10 metres out here from the line, first tackle. 10 minutes gone in the first half, 30 minutes to go. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. That was a great tackle from Reece Robson. That was a great tackle from Reece Robson. He lost that ball cold just now. They've been given a lifeline by Ashley Klein here. Short ball to Jeremiah Nene, and they'll be 5 metres away from the line. Third tackle. Third tackle. And underneath to Jason Tamalolo. Tried a bit of the crash play there. Didn't work though. 4 tackles, 3 minutes out from the line. Go to the right-hand side. Drink water. That's poor defense, Roosters. Wow. Oh, my goodness me. They're still going to score. That is so poor from the Roosters. Oh, my gosh. You guys are actually a scam, eh? Mark Nortawase, first of all, he doesn't even run for the ball. And then they give away the penalty. Now, the Cowboys have scored one here off an absolutely diabolical penalty from Ashley Klein. But that's also just awful defensive from the Roosters. They've already got a 5-on-3 on the Cowboys side before they even get the ball down there. The ball is not even there, and you can see it's a 5-on-3. What is this defense from the Roosters? That is just horrific. Yeah, sure, it comes off the back of an absolutely diabolical, stupid penalty there that Ashley Klein, I don't know how he's gone and called that as a penalty. But the fact of the matter is, the Roosters, that was dreadful. You have been all over the Cowboys in this first 12 minutes, and you're going to give up a try that easily. So Braden Burns will score on that right wing, and it's going to be 6 points to 4 to the Roosters with a kick to come for the Cows. That is awful stuff. How can you blame Hugo Savala for that? Well done, Hugo, for jamming it in. Hugo Savala has got 4 players in front of him. How can you blame Hugo Savala for jamming it in? If anything, Sam Walker's well on the inside. That whole defense, they didn't even have a back row on that left-hand side. The Roosters don't even have a back row out there. How can you blame Hugo Savala for that? That doesn't even make any sense. Tipper wouldn't have helped there. No way. And they will slice the inside of the post and it'll be 6-6 That is on no world is that on Hugo Savala just then. They had a 4-on-2. It's originally a 5-on-3. Sam Walker comes inside. But 5 those 3. How are you blaming Savala? Watch this again. That's an outrageous take. So, it's a 3-on-2 out there regardless. Even if Savala stays his line, it's going to be a 3-on-2, turns into a 2-on-1, turns into a Cowboys try regardless. That is not on Hugo Savala. That is on the defensive line of the Sydney Roosters. That is not on Hugo Savala there. They score on that play regardless of if he maintains his line. Regardless. But the Roosters will kick this ball off and the Cowboys will receive this ball now at the 3. And they get it out now to the 15 on first tackle. This Cows jersey giving me Titans vibes. Oh my gosh. Move on, please. Move on from the Titans vibes thing. It's if anything, it's Chargers. But again, guys, nah. This does not look like the Titans to me. I don't see it. I'm literally a Titans fan. I just don't see it. I can see Chargers. It looks nothing like a Titans jersey. It's not even the right colours. Just because it's like a shade of blue doesn't mean that it's another Titans jersey. So anyway, 6 again now for the Cowboys, and they're going to bring it out to the 40 on second tackle now. Second tackle. And they go to the left-hand side to Jake Clifford. And I'll be at the 45. Klein is getting more insufferable again. Again, that try for the Cowboys just came off of an awful call from Ashley Klein. He lost that cold, but they gave him that penalty and they ended up scoring from it. So the Cowboys on fifth tackle. Now, they are working their way into the game, but it is no surprise after coming off a couple of Ashley Klein penalties. They go to the left-hand side, and it's going to be Jake Clifford, and Clifford's going to put that ball up into the air. Mark Nawatawase will get an easy grab. We're taking out of the 8 on first tackle. The only thing it has is the teal. Yeah, but Titans aren't teal, though. Marky Mark has lost a bit of form since Origin. There's a penalty to the Roosters, and I think he's caught offside there. I wasn't even watching to see if it was right or not. That Chargers jersey is what we call a Titans jersey. It's their retro jersey. Although that's wrong, though, because the Titans are not the Chargers. But yes, it does look like the Chargers jersey. If you say Chargers, then sure. But in terms of Titans, no way. In terms of Titans, absolutely not. But in regards to Chargers, yeah. I can see that for sure. So 26 minutes to go here the first half, and the Roosters will receive their penalty, and they'll be at the 40. They go to Siwa Wong, who will now be at the 47 on first tackle. They said it's like he's lost his sparky spark. Oh my gosh. Now, far wide to the 45, you need help. That's what you need. Second tackle, Reece Robson. Tedesco underneath to Nat Butcher, and he'll be at the 35. Reece Robson's having a game right now, by the way. He'll go to Sam Walker, walking out of Cherry Evans. Cherry Evans underneath to Robert Toya. And Toya's going to run this ball really lethargically to the 34. He lost meters. That was really lethargic there from Robert Toyer. Reece Robson goes to the left-hand side underneath the James Tedesco. Tedesco here. They get it across, and that's going to be a Sam Walker try time for the Sydney Roosters. Sam Walker try time, and again, they're just killing him up the middle, man. It is 10 points to 6 here with a kick to come. I'm pretty certain that's a try. The Cowboys defensively today have been poor. Roosters defensively weren't great either, but way too easy up the middle. I'm telling you guys, the Cowboys are getting just manhandled in the middle of the park as we currently speak. Like, up the middle. We saw this with the first dart from Reece Robson in the first set for the Roosters. It's so open underneath. It's so open in the middle. For us non-Titans fans, that Chargers jersey is a Titans jersey. Well, that's great, Jason, but you would be incorrect. And also, you don't speak on behalf of everybody. But in regards to yourself, you would be incorrect. Because the Chargers jersey is not the Titans jersey. But thank you for continuing with it. But you would be incorrect there, sir. But look, honestly, they are just getting destroyed in the middle of the park. Just destroyed in the middle. Brocky says, try time ping pong, mother bish. Davis's pass looks sus, but still a great play. Let me have a look. Oh, nah, it's a good pass. It's flat. I get what you're talking about, though. I get it did look a little bit dodgy on at first, but no, it's definitely. I would say it's flat anyway. I won't say definitely because I could easily be wrong with that. But then we'll get the kick, and it is 12 points to 6 to the Sydney Roosters with 24 minutes to go here in the first half. The walking over. It's just way too easy there for the Roosters. Both teams today. Both teams, this angle on the left-hand side of the field definitely look backwards. On the other side, I can understand what people are talking about, though. Didn't the Gold Coast have a Seagulls team before the Chargers? Was that after? Yeah, there's been the Gold Coast Seagulls, the Gold Coast Chargers, the Gold Coast Giants. The Crushers were not Gold Coast. And there was actually technically a Gold Coast Gladiators, but I don't think they actually got a first-grade game of footy in, but they did exist. All right, so the Roosters, they will get this ball, Nat Butcher, and bring it back here to the 15 on first tackle. And now they'll get it off to the 20 on second tackle. There is probably going to be a lot of points in this game, as we were talking about before. There is probably going to be a lot. Nafahu White, geez, what a run there to the 38 on third tackle. Cowboys, you've got to show some defense right now. 40-20 attempt here from the Roosters as well. That's going to be a 40-20. That's going to be a 40-20. That's a great 40-20. That's a great kick there from Cherry Evans. He saw it coming a mile away, and he will get the 40-20. So 12 points to 6 here to the Roosters with 23 minutes to go the first half, and they're back onto the attack already. Okay, so as I said last week, and I'll say it again, teams need to line Teddy up and smash him. I know it's easier said than done, but why let him run free? Well, overall, the Cowboys are letting the Roosters run free everywhere here today. Everywhere. That's a fantastic 40-20 there from Cherry Evans, and you could see it coming a mile away in terms of the fact they were just making way too many meters, and Cowboys had to think about getting back onto the defense, and instead the Roosters just think, you know what, I'm going to slap this one down your esophagus, and that's what they did. Sam Walker gets it off to Nat Butcher, and Nat Butcher now, he'll be at the 5 on second tackle. Reece Robson goes for a little scoot. No, he doesn't. He gives it up to Victor Radley. This will be a 6 again, though. It will be a 6 again. And then Reece Robson, he'll get out the back into Sam Walker. Cherry Evans. Cherry Evans steps on the inside, tries a little roll. He'll be 5 meters out from the line, second tackle. What does he think Titans hold on for minor premiers? Yeah, guaranteed they never lost a game before in history. And now Nafahu White, he'll be 5 meters out from the line, third tackle. Show some defense here, Cows. You haven't so far. Reece Robson, Victor Radley, Sam Walker. He steps back to the right side, off to Cherry Evans. Cherry Evans now moving, and he'll be taken down to the 10 on 4 tackle. Now Robson off to Tedesco. Tedesco kicks his ball through. So bad defense there from the Cowboys. Oh my gosh, you're going to get monstered. You're going to get monstered today. You're going to get slapped. It's 16 points to 6 with the kick to come. Hugo's available to score a try. This is going to be potentially embarrassing here for you, Cowboys, because this defense today is actually atrocious. This defense today is actually atrocious. Every single time the Roosters have been down here, they've scored. We're 19 minutes in, and you're already going to be down 18 points to 6. Tedesco's killing you. Reece Robinson's killing you. And the Roosters overall are manhandling you in the middle of the park. Manhandling. Cows used all their fight in the Broncos. Well, as I think it was Seb Watson said, like, they don't put together 2 good games in a row. They just don't. 20 minutes to go the first half here, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. David says this will be a 50-50 game. Disagree. Cowboys have their chance to beat the Roosters if their ball work and defence is applied well. Yeah, but you're saying there's 20 minutes in the game when they're already down 18 points to 6, and we can see clearly that their defence is not applied well. Their defence right now has been absolutely atrocious. We're only 20 minutes into this game. It's already going to be 18 points to 6. The Roosters looking to try and beat the clock. They're close. Can't get anything going up the middle. The Cows can't get anything going up the middle and can't defend up the middle. Kenny would have been all over that ball. Keanu Kenny in a game like this would destroy. Like, if the Cowboys, they play Keanu next week. Keanu Kenny with this kind of space, oh my goodness me. Cowboys are going to wake up, man, because next week will be a tricky one for them if they can't wake up as we currently speak, because Keanu Kenny could absolutely slap through that. Oliver Pascoe would find these holes just like Reece Robson is. I'm telling you, this is a very ominous sign for the Cows. Davis, no awareness from the Cows. They all looked back hoping someone else would chase. Yep. Over under 54. I'd definitely be going over, Shavana. Definitely. It should be. We're only 20 minutes in. We've already seen 24 points. We've seen 4 tries in 20 minutes. Let's go Cowboys, JJ says. Yeah, well, it's not looking fantastic among us right now, but the Roosters, Nat Butcher, he'll bring it out to the 15 on first tackle. Pascoe is the second or third highest paid player in NRL Fantasy. Highest paid player, as in like the most expensive player? Surely not. Really? And the Fahu White, big offload there to Siwa Wong, and they're way up the middle again, bro. Third tackle at the 40. They've made 40 metres in 3 tackles here, the Roosters, and it's all been up the middle. They'll now be at the 50 on 4 tackle. They're already at the 50 on 4 tackle now. Reece Robson scoot through the middle. They go to the right-hand side. And I don't know why Cherry Evans didn't pass that ball, but there would have been a weight on the right wing if he did. 5th tackle here, the 40. Reece Robson to Sam Walker, and Sam Walker's going to put this ball up high. No one to us. They chase. Robert Toyer chase. Cowboys get it, and they'll be taken down to the 10 on first tackle. As soon as the Cows play finals, teams have a look at how they play and defend. Yeah. Oh, no, dude. The Cowboys, if the ball hits grass, it'll be still second tackle at the 13. I couldn't see him at all, only, but he does have that in his game from time to time. Oh, who are you talking about? Oh, from Drinkwater. Are you talking about from Drinkwater? Oh, where is Drinky for that dink in behind? It's a great question. This is what I'm trying to tell Dragons fans. Like, it's exciting in terms of your attack. What I will say for the Dragons next year is that your attack is exciting. You got Philip Sami. You'll have Drinkwater. You will have their way down the right-hand side of the Cowboys. No, good tackle there from Hugo Savala. 5th tackle at the 40. You know, you've got Drinkwater. You'll have still no halves. But like you got Luke Metcalf, but still there's a lot of, what are the Roosters doing? But they will get the ball to 30 and take it out to the 40 on first tackle. Yikes. You have an exciting attacking team next year. Defensively, you haven't improved. I would actually make an argument. I would try to make the argument that defensively they may have even slightly regressed, but you've just got to hope that Dean Young can actually get them better attacking-wise. But that's a really loose argument because like it's hard to get worse defensively than you are now. He's lost the ball then, Nat Butcher. Oh, I don't agree with that one. Oh, Ashley Klein, you know how I disagree with that Cowboys penalty before? Well, I disagree with this Roosters penalty here because he's got the ball out the back here. He's lost his ball cold. Not releasing. Yeah, but he's lost his ball out the back with no attack. Like, he's just lost that ball cold. Disagree with that penalty as well, but at least it's a make-up penalty for the other previous call. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. Like, I genuinely believe he's just lost that himself. The ref's been shocking. The ref's not been great, but at least it's 1 for 1 now in regards to bad calls. It just needs the Roosters. Oh, far out. That's a bad pass there from Robson. And it'll be a knock on there. I think he was meant to be the decoy there, Radley. But either way, he knocked the ball on. That was an awful error there from the Roosters. And now Braden Burns will get this ball to the 35 on first tackle. Reece Robson's trying to get that ball at the back, and Radley has just knocked that ball on, thinking it was his when it wasn't. Nick Ramos a good get for the Dragons. Again, attacking-wise, defensively not so much, but attacking-wise, yeah, for sure. Nick Ramos is a great get for the Dragons. So attacking-wise, they've lost the ball here. Roosters get the ball to 50. Do you think the Titans have improved on the Hane? I think it's guaranteed. I think that, firstly, they're above the ladder position of where they've been the last, 4 years in a row. I know there's still time to go, but, round 21 last season, the Titans were in second last with 5 wins. This year, they're on 6 wins. In 2024, they were in 4th last on 7 wins. They did actually have more wins that year, but they still finished in the bottom 4 at the end. They had 7 wins as well back in turn 23. But if you're talking about based off of last year's, yeah, absolutely, they've improved. And defensively, they're a far better team than what they've been the last basically 15 years. Attacking-wise, it's still taking time, but you're starting to see some improvement in the attack now, which is what I've always say. You build a defense and the attack will come. So Cherry Evans out of the left-hand side of Sam Walker, and they're getting metres to the middle again, the Roosters. 30 metres out from the line, 3rd tackle. And Reece Robson to Victor Radley. Radley to Cherry Evans. Sam Walker. Quick passing. Robert Toya marked on Tuase. Marky, steps. And he'll be taken out of the 10 on 4th tackle. Oh, no. It would have been a penalty if they took him out of the sideline there. Robert Toya to Cherry Evans. Short ball. Nafahu White, arguably forward there, but they don't call it. Robert Toya, that's going to hit the grass. And Cherry Evans. Sam Walker. Notice Cherry Evans to the 10 on 5th tackle. Reece Robson to Sam Walker. He'll step, he'll score. This is ridiculous. You're getting fucked up the middle here, Cowboys. You're getting no lubed right up the damn well centre of the park. You are getting barebacked up the middle of the park right now, Cowboys. This is outrageous that you cannot defend the middle of the park. It is right up the middle. Right up the middle here. Like, this is actually insane. It's actually insane how poor the defense is from the Cowboys, but this is also a better performance here from the Roosters. But also, you look at this. Robson to Sam Walker. Sam Walker just steps in and just scores. And again, it comes from Reece Robson. Reece Robson's having a spectacular game here. But also, this Cowboys defense is nowhere near up to the level that it needs to be right now. Nowhere near up to the level it needs to be. Yes, Casey, they haven't hit 30 yet. Yes, I know what you're referring to. Snap some ankles then by Walker. That was way too easy there from Sam Walker. And again, another great pass there from Reece Robson that just goes right up the middle. It's way too easy. Jeremy says, Nicarima was out of the game a couple of years ago. Great to see him thriving. Yeah, he was... Where was he? Like, Nicarima's always been... Was he... Oh, I might be thinking about Jaden Nicarima. But was he Rabbitohs at one stage? Where's Cody been throughout his career? He was at the Bars too at one stage, wasn't he? Or maybe I'm just thinking of the New Zealand connection there. I can't even think right now of Nick Rima's career, but like I know that he's been there, but not really been there, if you know what I mean. Jay Lewis says, have the Cowboys defence got out of bed yet? Well, the Cowboys defence has never really been there. They're 11th, 12th. This is an emphasis here for Cowboys fans. Your defence prior to this game was behind the Titans' defence this season. Your defence prior to this game, so again, let's go and have a look here. Your defense prior to this game was 470 against. That is equal with the Raiders. It is worse off than the Storm, worse off than the Titans. You're basically on the same... You're 1 point better off than the Broncos coming to this game. 1 point. Obviously, says Cowboys are a scam. I don't know if they're a scam, but like fraud alert will probably come after this game. I know it's the Roosters, but like the performance itself is giving fraud. The performance itself. The performance itself right now is just nowhere near up to the level that they need to be at. 4 tackle. And now the Roosters will be taking down Tedesco at the 40. And they go to Cherry Evans, who'll whack this ball down into the corner, where it should be an easy one there for Murray Talangi. Oh, by the way, I saw the comment before saying Talangi was being dropped. You were right, Blaze. Again, I don't like being right in terms of that. Again, I called him, this is for Blaze Talangi, for people who don't know. I don't like being right in regards to this, but he hasn't been good enough and he's been coasting alongside Nathan Cleary. I 100% agree with him being dropped here this week for the Panthers. It may be harsh for a young lad 6 weeks out prior to the finals, but at the end of the day, he's not been good enough. And defensively against the Eels, he was awful. And he needs to wake himself up in terms of the player that we know he can be. Because again, I called him as a breakout player. I've been saying all season long, I'm expecting so much more. I'm expecting this. I'm expecting that. We've gotten jack shit from him. So I think it's really, really positive that the Panthers have dropped him and then hopefully can bring him back next week after he has a little bit of a, oh, no way, Roosters. Oh, no way, Roosters. I just hope this isn't a knock-on here from the Cowboys. I think this might be a double knock-on Roosters-Cowboys. Or it might even be knock-on Cowboys into the Roosters. But there's a try here, but Ashley Klein's going to go up to the bunker for a no try. I don't know what Cowboys fans are doing right now because there's clearly something we have to look at here in terms of the who touches this ball first. It's a knock-on Cowboys. Is it? I don't know. I think this is first knock-on Cowboys here. I think Zach Labert's hand. Yeah. It's a knock-on Cowboys. Yep, Zach Labert will knock this ball on. Roosters will get the ball. It's a no try. Blake Hardeman, 59 months. That's a lovely hat, sir. Yeah, it's a local Kazakhstani hat. So basically, what these mean, if you don't know what a yurt is like in Kazakhstan, a yurt. Firstly, thank you for being a member for 59 months. Appreciate the support. But a yurt is like a big tent. It's like a yurt would be like what igloos are to, say, Canada and the North Pole and all that sort of stuff. But for Kazakhstan, and it's like this big tent that you have out in the mountains and whatnot, and these are the designs they have on the yurts. Google YURT if you want to know what I'm talking about. It's like a massive tent in the mountains. I'm actually going to be staying in a yurt on Monday to Wednesday out in the mountains here. Monday through Wednesday. I was going to go this week, but I've just been too sick. Oh, too easy again. Oh, this is a piss take, Cowboys. Oh my gosh, you're getting taken a piss out of. You're getting taken a piss out of. You're getting taken the absolute living piss out of, Cowboys. That is disgraceful. That is disgraceful. 28 points to 6 here with a kick to come to the Roosters. That is actually outrageous that try just existed. Celestia Fekete will score the try here. Reece Robson gets it to Victor Radley. Radley at the back into Sam Walker. And it's all decision-making on the inside, and it's way too easy. Way too easy. Way too easy. It's about to be 30 points to 6, and yeah, you can start talking about a 50 bomb already. Yurt is a desert igloo, basically. Yeah, but also yurts are used even in the winter. So yes, you're right. For now, anyway, in the summer, yeah. But yurts are still something that they live in during the winter. Roosters look like scoring every time they get in the 20. Well, Roosters looking like scoring every time they get the ball right now. They just scored from the 50. Way too easy. 28 points to 6 here with 10.5 minutes to go of the first half. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here. Obstruction is red. No, the Cowboys defensively make a decision to come onto the inside that man there. That's not obstruction. I'd go scam, Brendan. This is Tread from the Cowboys. Honestly, it's given scam at the moment. It is. Like, it's giving scam. How can a top 8 team be performing this poorly? Like, this is bad. They are chasing the clock. Well, if he gets his kick, they'll be on the clock, Bobby. It'll be tied game 30-30 if he gets his kick, which he's right in front, so it'll be 30-30. He'll be right in front, so it will be 30-30. This is just insane. And there we go. Also, that looked like an obstruction to me. No way. The Cowboys player makes a defensive read. He makes a defensive decision on the inside. I've heard those yurt players can get a bit hairy. Oh my boy. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But all right. It is looking dangerous here for the old Cowboys. 30 points to 6 here with 10 minutes to go to first half. And we've got 50 minutes to go here, and it's already 30 points. Well, I told you, the Sharks had a statement last week, and now it's time for the Roosters, the Warriors, and also the Panthers, and even the Dolphins to start making statements. And the Roosters are doing that as we currently speak. I'll bring it out now to the 20 on second tackle. The fact that Cowboys look sloppy at home just shows the difference. Look at their game against Manly. Look at their game against the Dolphins. You know, they've had many games this year at home where they've looked like this. We spoke about this before the game started. Cherry Evans, he's going to step back onto the inside. He gets the offload away to Victor Radley, Egan Butcher. And Egan Butcher will beat the 40 on fit tackle. Sam Walker, he's going to put this ball up into the air. Chase through here. Caught by Cherry Evans. Flicks it out the back. Roosters will get the ball away again. It's going to come out here for Nona Tawase. Still fit tackle now. They get the ball again across here to Sam Walker. Sam Walker steps. He'll get... Oh, that's a 4 pass. That's a 4 pass. Yep, there we go. That ended up being awful there from the Roosters. Hoping for a good close game. I didn't expect this. I was always under the impression this was a 13-plus Roosters. Because the Cowboys are 10th for the attack and 11th for 12th for defense. It made sense. Yeah, Sam Walker's... I know that step worked before, but he can't use that step every single time. 6-pack and Akadaka. So third tackle now for the Cowboys. And they're going to beat the 45 on the Roosters side of the field. Matt Lodge comes out. Marky Mark going to have a Ikuvalu performance. Mark's been awful today. Mark Mweswase has had a really poor game here. Oh, intercept by Mark. As I say that, and he's away. As I say that, he's away. As I say that, he's away. And as I say that, he scores. You're going on fucking scam. You are scam. As I speak about that, as we speak about Martin Watchalong has had a really... Martin Watchalong has had a really poor game. He will go and score, and it will be 34 points to 6 here with the kick to come. This is just insane. This is incredible. Cowboys, you are absolutely on scam. You are absolutely on scam. Don't even argue it. You're going straight from fraud to scam. You are going straight from fraud, straight onto the old Scamamundos. Straight onto the old Scamamundos, Cowboys. See you later. See you later there, son. This is actually just stupid right now. This isn't rugby league. Right now, guys, they are beating the clock. We've been here for 33 minutes. They've scored 34 points. They're beating the clock. And they're beating the clock. Just pack your bag, lads. Stay in the sheds. Ryson says, ouch, my unders is nearly done already. Why do you have unders in this game? One more try and I lose the bet in the first half. Why do you have unders in this game? Why did you have unders? Scott drink Gatorade. I tell you what, this Cowboys team, they're getting exposed to Lux right now. Nate James says, oh geez, my under 44. Why are people betting on unders in this game? Why are people betting on the unders? Pass games between them have been pretty low and close. The Cowboys are the 11th/12th worst defense. They're the 11th/12th best defense. So they're like a bottom 6 for their defense. And this is what I'm saying. The Roosters, whilst they're 7th for attack, we all know that they can do this. And the Cowboys are actually 10th for attack, and the Roosters are actually pretty solid for the old defense. I think it was top 4, wasn't it? I think it was third for defense, maybe. But the matter is, this game was never going on this for mine. But I do understand the 18-12 that happened in Magic Round, but that was also a game where the Roosters had 740 errors. Playing up, says Roosters just flagged the Indigenous jersey this year. Well, this is an Indigenous round. Indigenous round is actually next week and the week after, apparently, is what I was told in the chat. I know they had the Welcome to Country before, but this is an Indigenous round. Somebody asked if a team has ever scored 40 points and a half. We may possibly see that happen tonight. Hope I don't jinx it. Melbourne Storm last year, round 1 against Parramatta, no? I think they got to like 42 in the first half. I think it was 42-0 or something like that in round 1. And penalty to the Roosters at 20. This is pathetic, Cowboys. This is actually pathetic. Duncan says, Cowboys thought last week was 2015 grand final and forgot about the rest of 2026. Yeah, well, they're not even guaranteed the finals just yet. And this points differential, their points differential wasn't good anyway. Seb says, people deserve to lose if they bet unders with a dumb bet. I just don't understand why. Like, I'm not here to insult people who bet on it because, like, at the end of the day, it was the 18-12 was probably what solved them. But the way these two teams played, like, look at the Cowboys defensively this year. They can easily give this point up, and especially at home. They gave up 50 to Man. They gave up, I think, 38 to Manly. They gave up 40 to the Dolphins at home. Oh, they've given up a lot of points at home this year. Oh, too easy. Right to the 30 on second tackle. Cowboys didn't get off the bus. They didn't get out of their own home cars. Reece Robson, he wants something tonight. He'll rock this ball to the 20. He's been so good. Third tackle. Angel Jones says, can you make a new category pass scam just for the Cowboys? Yeah, it's called Antarctica. They're not quite at the Antarctican level. It means that we remove them from the comp and we put the Penguins in their place. But they're not quite at that level. If they can see a 70 here tonight, I'd consider it. Sam Walker gives it off to Connor Watson. And Connor Watson, he'll be fit tackle to 5. Cowboys, you can see it here. I might actually throw up on stream. Reece Robson, left-hand side. Sam Walker, they are. It's going to be a try. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Cowboys, what the fuck is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this, Cowboys? This is a rugby league team, is it? This is a rugby league team, is it? Roosters, way too easy. 40 points to 6 with the kid to come. I want to put you on Antarctica. I really do. There is a chance of a fitty bomber in the first half, Sam. There is a chance of a fitty bomber in the first half. There is a chance of a 50 bomb in the first half here. This is actually disgraceful here from the Cowboys. The Cowboys should be fined and not paid with this shit, Tiger says. Well, it's 40 points to 6. No matter what, they'll be equal with the clock at half time. Nah, it's the horny hundo, Sam. Horny hunch. The horny hunch. Just gives that little bit of oomph behind it. The horny hunch. You've got the 50-30, the friggin' 40, the fitted bomb, the 60 slammer, the sexy 70, the electric 80, the naughty 90s, and the horny hunch. That's how it goes. Jason says most points scored in a half was by the Cowboys. Funny enough, yeah, was the first half or second half? Playing up to the Cowboys getting smoked. Absolutely smoked. Well, by the way, if you are a Warriors fan or a Sharks fan right now, you would be pissed off because the Roosters are plus 85 while they're up by 34 points. 95, 105, 115, 119. They're getting up closer to you now. They're getting up closer to you, points differential-wise. And this is still 43 minutes to go here at this game. This may be the biggest first half score. I still feel like Storm Eels was pretty hefty last year. And Sam Walker will make the kicks with 42 points to 6 with 3 minutes to go. 42 points to 6 with 3 minutes to go. Duncan spoke about Todd Payton being on the watch. I won't mention here. Todd Payton being re-signed. You guys, if you watch my streams, you know I have criticised and I have complained for ages. I'm talking years about Todd Payton. I don't care who the Cowboys coach is. I am not a Cowboys fan. But he is Adam O'Brien, but just a slight little bit better. But they're on the same wavelength. The fact the Knights re-signed Adam O'Brien even a few years ago was outrageous. The fact that the Cowboys re-signed Todd Payton recently is outrageous. There is actual no proof to the reasoning behind it. There is actually nothing that Todd Payton has actually really done for the Cowboys. What has he actually done for the Cowboys to warrant these re-signings? How long was the re-signing for Todd Payton of the Cowboys too, mind you? How long is it for? Cowboys going to fraud or scam after tonight. They're already on scam. 4 tackle now for the Roosters, and they're going to be at the 40 on their own side of the field. I wouldn't be surprised with another try for the Roosters in the first half. And Robert Toya pushes... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, there's actually a fitty bomb coming in the first half, boys. There's actually about to be a fitty bomb in the first half. This is actually outrageous. 46-6 with the kicks come. This is embarrassing. This is an embarrassment in rugby league here. This is an embarrassment. 46-6 with the kick to come. 46-6 with a kick to come. There is a chance of a 50 bomb in the first half. They could be on target for 100 points in this game of the Roosters. They could be on target for 100 points. It's actually so disrespectful to their home crowd now. It's just disrespectful to their team in general. This is the type of game where you give an official apology to the press media. Do it at half time, not even at the end of the game. Do it at half time. Do it at half time. Todd Payton, face the media and apologise at half time. Jaden says that in a mythical, hypothetical world where the Roosters choke this lead in the second half, would they go and scam? I would never stream a Roosters game ever again, Jaden. I would ban them from the channel if they lost this game from here. I would remove them from the channel. I would delete any previous Sydney Roosters stream that I'd ever done, and they would not exist in my mind, and they would forever permanently be the Penguins if the Roosters lost this game from here, which they're not going to do. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Can you guys just confirm for me that the stream is still running smoothly? Can you just confirm for me in the chat that the stream is still running smoothly? Because, again, at this new place that I'm in Almaty, the internet is a little bit wonky. I got the final score as 41-48 Cowboys. Michelle says games like this are boring. We all know the winner. Have a biff. Made exciting. Do something. Roosters could march out the under 16s in the second half and still win. Yep, all true. Okay, sweet. So a minute to go here of what is just maybe the most diabolical result of all time. And they will kick the ball off. And the Roosters now are going to bring this ball out here to the 10 on first tackle. Fans are leaving the stadium. Fair enough. I've never left a game early. If my team got 50 points in the first half, I'd say that's probably fair enough. Connor Watts gets his ball to 30. And Sam Walker to the 40, fourth tackle. Go for a 2-point field goal. Go for a 2-point field goal, Roosters. Just do it. Just do it. At the 45. And that'll be Cherry Evans who just whacked this ball up high. Do they make a play to the Roosters? They will allow it to bounce. Oh, no way. Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. That's going to be a knock-on from the Cowboys. Roosters ball. They're going to score. They're going to score. Oh, my gosh. They're going to score. Sam Walker's going to score. It's a Fitty Bob in the first half. Oh, my fucking gosh. Oh, my gosh. Oh, they're going to the bunker. This may be a Fitty Bomb in the first half. They might be offside anyway. They're all offside. You're lucky, Cowboys. Spencer Leniu is onside. Spencer Leniu is the one who gets up there, but are they within 10? That's inside the 10. Celeste's inside the 10. You're lucky. It's not a Fitty Bomb. Penalty to the Cowboys. You're lucky. You're lucky it's not a Fitty Bomb. You're lucky it's not a Fitty Bomb in the first half, Cowboys. Offside is onside of you, Garrick. Yeah, look, absolutely should have been a try this because we did see Manly Titans that Garrick was offside by about 30 metres and they still... Cowboys fans, if you're in the stadium, boo this team at halftime. Like, boo them. There's no way you don't boo. There's no way we shouldn't hear boos when they walk off the field. There is no way you don't boo this. So the Cowboys, Hill and Luke will run this ball into the line. Boo them. They deserve a booing here. Are they not going to boo? That's disappointing. You should boo that. You should boo that. That was just appalling. Give them a standing ovation, Cowboys. Well, Mitchell, that's what Tigers fans have done before, isn't it? Callum says Cowboys have an extra M on scam. You know what? We're going to do this. You're getting the old double. You're getting a double scam. You're getting a double scam. We'll make it a little bit smaller so it's not completely encapsulating everything. Because otherwise the Bulldogs are going to feel like, why are we on scam too? We're not on scam. No, you're getting double. This is the first time we've ever seen a double. You're lucky you're still in the top 8 because that's why you're not on Antarctic and Penguins, but you are definitely on the old double scam. And now that's really starting to light up over there on that side of the stream. But anyway, it is half-time, 48 points to 6 here to the Sydney Roosters. You're not saying that incorrectly. This is not an AI score. This is not a fake score. It is a bullshit score, though, because it actually exists. But let's get into the halftime stats and see how it is all playing out here. So obviously, guys, do me a favour, hit that like button, subscribe if you are new around here, and wow, Cowboys, you are, this is a bit, like, I would prefer to be a Dragons fan at this very moment. I would prefer to be a Dragons fan at this very moment than a North Queensland Cowboys fan. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh no way. Anyway, 48 points to 60 to the Roosters. Like I said, thumbs up, subscribe. Let's get to the stats. This is at Queensland Contrabank Stadium in Townsville. Braden Burns with the try, and also it came off of a dodgy penalty, the Cowboys try. Like, it could easily have been 48-0, mind you. But Braden Burns with the try, Scott Drinkwater 1 from 1. You move over to the Roosters with 48. James Tedesco, Sam Walker, Hugo Savala, Sam Walker, Salesi Feketi, Mark Nawatawase, Tommy Talau, and James Tedesco, with the conversions being 8 from 8 of Sam Walker. You move to the possession. It is 64% possession to the Roosters, 36% possession to the Cowboys. So obviously well in favour of the Sydney Roosters here. Time in possession. You are never seeing 25 minutes. Now, 25 minutes is the threshold that you're looking for. We've seen 9 tries here today. We've seen 9 tries. So you're not going to get 25 minutes. It is 13 minutes and 42 seconds for the Roosters, 7.5 minutes there for the Cowboys, which means that 7:39, 13:42, 20, 20:42, literally 21:01. So you're seeing 4 minutes below the threshold, but that is because of how many tries he's seeing here today. You move to the completion rate. Well, it's actually really good here. 80% is the minimum you're looking for. 86% for the Cowboys is actually very good. 13 from 15. That's actually very good. Roosters at 90%. That's also incredible. 20 from 22. So both teams, you are not complaining about the completion rate. But I'm about to tell you a stat that's a little bit different. So the runs, 54 runs here for the Cowboys for a whopping, wait for it, 443 running metres. So that is basically 100 metres behind the 10 metres in average per run that you're looking for, because with 54 runs, you'd be looking for 540 metres. They're at 443. Well, the Roosters, they're at 100 runs on the dot with 1,152 run metres. They are 152 run metres above the 10 metres on average per run that you're looking for. Above it by 152. So the Roosters are just annihilating by a country mile. They are winning by 709 metres in the run metres department. They have close enough gotten to 1,000 more metres here than the Cowboys. Close enough. Now, post-contact metres, 140 for the Cowboys, 355 runs. Roosters with 348. That is exceptional. 348 is exceptional. 140 is disgraceful. That's not even good enough anyway. Like 55 runs, you'd definitely still be expecting more so around that 170, 180 at a minimum. At 140. Line breaks. 6-1 to the Roosters. Tackle breaks. 16-8 to the Roosters. That's actually, for a scoreline of 48, that's actually not that crazy. That's actually pretty good for the Cowboys with only 16 missed tackles. How have they only got 16 missed tackles and they've conceded 48 points? That's crazy. Average set distance, 25 metres and below is pathetic. To Nashrimov, 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is hit the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. And 50 plus is basically perfect. Well, it's no surprise to you. The Cowboys are at 29.88. 29.88 right now, which is disgusting. Nowhere near good enough. Then 5 and a bit metres below the threshold of 35 that you're looking for. And the Roosters, they've got 52.37, which is perfect. You can't ask for much more than that. It's one of the best average set distances you're going to see across the season. They are beating the Cowboys per set by 23 metres per set. Wowee. And now you go to the average play the ball speed. 3.33 seconds for the Cowboys is actually quite fast, and the Roosters at 3.42 seconds. So that's in the average category, separated by 0.09 in favour of the Cowboys. I'll tell you right now, completion rate, play the ball speed. This is actually just a masterclass from the Roosters. Like, the Cowboys have been awful, but the Roosters are actually putting on a bit of a masterclass here too, like individually. Everyone's going to say the Cowboys have been so bad, the Roosters have been running through that. I think the Roosters would have... Well, again, I tipped the Roosters 13+. Like, I fully expected this, but like, this is a really impressive showing here. And then we got the offloads, 9 to the Roosters, very high. Cowboys 1, very low. Kick defusal, 50% for the Roosters, 33% for the Cowboys. God help you if you're in that dressing room right now. 140-20 the Roosters. Effective tackle percentage is 86.21% here for the Cowboys. Now, 85% and below is awful. 85% to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is hitting the marker. And 90% and above is basically perfect. With 48 points conceded, 86.21% here and underwhelming doesn't really reflect what we're seeing here. And that's because this is an individual stat metric. And this is not a team collective stat metric. So you've seen that with the line breaks, the offloads, and all this kind of dribble, right? The Cowboys, 175 tackles made is in the typical range of 160 to 180, normal range. 16 missed tackles here is actually normal. 15 and 17 is the average. And 12 ineffective tackles is above the average of 5 to 7 by 5. So 28 bad tackles in a typical range of 175 is actually just underwhelming. It's not awful, but it's not great. But they're down by 48, which means that as a team, they're not missing the tackles because they're completely missing the man. And they're not even touching him, because a missed tackle is only registered if you touch him and miss the tackle. So there has been 6 line breaks, and there has been ball everywhere, and that is why you are seeing an underwhelming stat for a team that should be below awful. And then for the Roosters at 92.11%, this is actually lower than I would have expected. 105 tackles made is so far behind the typical average of 160 to 180, it's ridiculous. 160 to 80 is the average. 105 is what they've got. They are 55 tackles below that. 8 missed tackles is actually really high, considering 105 tackles made there. But that is below the average of 15 to 17, and the ineffective tackles is 1. That is really good. That is 4 below the average of 5 to 7. So 9 bad tackles there in the first half with a very measly 105 tackles made for a dominating 92.11%. It's just all coming up Millhouse at the Roosters right now. Errors, negative play, 3 and below is really good. 4 to 6 is average and 7 above is awful. Well, you won't believe it. The Cowboys, 3 errors. It's actually not bad at all. And the Roosters with 4 errors. It's in the average area. So the Cowboys have got less errors than the Roosters. Penalties conceded is 3-3. Ruck infringements 1-1. The Roosters have just absolutely annihilated them here today. And the Cowboys have been awful, but the Roosters have just annihilated them here today. This is what we've been expecting from the Roosters for a while, which is similar to what we were saying about the Sharks. And I'll get to your comment in a second, Seb. But this is what we've been expecting from the Roosters for a while. And the Sharks have opened the floodgates last week with that trouncing win over Manly, where it said to the Warriors, it said to the Roosters, it said to the Panthers, and it said to the Dolphins that you need to turn up right now, otherwise we're going to run away with this competition. With the Sharkies last week. And the Roosters have said, okay, bet. And we're going to do the same thing. And that's what they're doing right now. Cowboys are a similar caliber, similar area to Manly. You know, they're 2 similar teams here. And the Sharks have said, jump. And the Roosters have said, how high? And they've jumped higher. You know, and it's just as simple as that. So the Roosters have dominated them. And look, I don't know how the second half is going to go, but like they could honestly be on for 80 to 90 points here if they have another second half like that. If they have a second half like that, I wouldn't even put another 50 out of the equation. But I think they'll slow down for sure, surely. But Roosters are typically a second half team. Seb Watson with the £5 donation. Get on your Seb. Says, cheers for the free money, cows. Exactly as I expected. You can't tackle players if you don't get near them. Yep, that is true, Seb. Thank you very much for the dono. And you're right. You can't tackle them if they are not in your vicinity. And I can tell you right now for free, the Roosters have not been anywhere close to the vicinity Nowhere close to the vicinity of the Cowboys. Will be nowhere close to the vicinity of the Roosters in this game. But thank you for the dono. Jaden says the Cowboys halftime Instagram post has more comments than likes. I need to go have a look at this. I need to go and have a look at this. Okay. This is going to be a sight to see. Titans Warriors are sold out this weekend, by the way. Oh, gosh. It's just going to be all Wasps fans. Okay, hold on. Cowboys. Let's have a look at this bad boy. Let's have a look at the North Queensland Cowboys Instagram page as we speak. That's 8 weeks ago. Oh, yeah, they didn't even put the score on the actual post. Forfeit the club, someone says. Admin, please don't post the full-time score. What time do we start playing at? Someone said, as a Broncos fan, I love this. Guess neither of us will win the comp. Jesse says, still can win the comp. Oh, shit, there's still the second half. Brave leaving in the comments on admin. Can we forfeit? Is that an option? Shout to the coaching staff and the main man, Peyton. What a defensive effort. So glad Peyton is sticking around for another 2 years. Cannot wait. Cowboys is so dumb for extending him, but we said this. It honestly isn't rocket science. It wasn't ever rocket science, but, you know, sure thing. Sure thing, Bosco. Sure thing, Bosco. Oh, boy. Are we allowed to forfeit? Worst defense I've ever seen. I would agree. Is there a way to cancel a contract extension? Great questions being put to the Cowboys on their Instagram page. Uncle Tex says, also, I hope you're well, mate. Love you. Get around your Uncle Tex. I'm a little bit sick these last couple of weeks, but I'm all right. I'm all right. I don't know what your other comment was, though, because I've seen you said also, but I haven't seen your other comment. I can't see what that is. Laurie says, hi, Blaze. What is the Roosters and Cowboys Brokeback Mountain as this score? This is, yeah, very Brokeback Mountain-y. Very Brokeback Mountain-y. I know it's not spoken about much, but the leader of the Cows, Tommy D, is basically saying he's leaving the club. Maybe this is the reason for this disgrace. No, mate. No. There's no way. There is no way I've just read a comment that has suggested that a player who's not playing. So let me just put this into to what you've just said. You've just blamed Tom Dearden, who's not playing in this game, for them losing 48 points to 6. Are you shitting me? You've just blamed Tom Dearden, who is not playing in this game, for being down 48 to 6 at half time. Are we serious? That is one of, by far, the worst takes I have ever seen. That might have possibly, Jeremy, that might have been the worst take I have ever read, to blame Tom Dearden for this scoreline when he's not playing. That is amazing. Thursday night clean sweep. Sluggerama says Cowboys get a double scan. They're definitely on double scan. Tell me Tommy Dearden is leaving without telling me Tommy is leaving. I actually just don't even believe I just read what I read. Like, I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Like, there's no way someone in their head has thought this is Tom Dearden's fault. Like, there's no way. I'm really just trying to understand it internally right now. The second half is about to start here, guys. It'll be the Roosters to kick off to the Cowboys. Try Predictor has 57% on the Roosters. I think it should be a little bit higher. Jaden says, not anymore, it doesn't, but when I first checked it at 400 likes and 500 comments. Damn, it's going to be a feedy bomb really early, hopefully not a hundy grenade. It's a horny hunch if it gets there. Uncle Tick says, it must have been deleted by an admin. I made a funny comment about a dude who you had drama with. Oh, I know, yeah. And he was a bit of a hater who supports North Queensland Cowboys. No, I know who you're talking about. Of course I do. Yeah. Didn't sat in his Chooks tracky. That must be it. Hobbit says, I hope Roosters double that score only because the Cowboys really let me down that first half. I honestly thought that'd be better. Well, yeah, sure. Okay, first tackle now for the Cowboys at 9. I think everybody would agree because 48 points to 6 is a pretty crazy scoreline. But hit our thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new around here. Cowboys need a bigger scam stamp than that. They've got a double scam Amundos. They got a double scam. No, you're all good. Leighton, you're all good. So it'll be fifth tackle now for the Cowboys, and they're going to be to 40. We want at least 70 here. That's only 22 points away. That's only 22 points away. That's only 4 tries, man. 70 points is only 4 tries away for the Roosters. And we've got 39 minutes to go. Gee whiz. They go to the left-hand side. And now they'll be second tackle here at the 40. When was the last time there was an 80? Oh, I think it was back in the 80s. The largest scoreline I've seen lately, in like the last 10, 15 years, would have been Cowboys-Tigers 72-0 here in North Queensland back about 3 years ago. Reece Robson with a good dart again. He's going to bring this ball to the 35 on 4 tackle. Good run. And they'll go to the right. And short ball into Spencer Leniu. And Spencer Leniu will push this one to the 30 on fifth tackle. Cowboys, you're going to show us something here. Like, the Roosters surely slow down. Surely. And they'll whack this ball up here and knock on from the Cowboys. And the Roosters will score. Mark Nwanganetawase will score a try. And it's a 50-50 bomba. 50-50 bomba. 50-50. 50-50. 50-50 bomba, 50-50 bum, 50 bomba, 50-50 bomba, ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba, 50-50 bum, 50 bomba, 50-50 bomba, ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-ba. This is a disgrace, Cowboys, and it continues. 52 points to 6 with a kid to come. Maki Magno Wanganeta Wase with a try time. Too easy, baby, too easy. Too easy. Probably this well, but it was fun, cows. Your season is done. Bye, Felicia. Well, yeah, they can't win a comp, but they're still in the top 8, crazily enough. They are still in the top 8. They're still in the top 8, and it is just amazing to see them in the top 8. You want to go through their stats again? Let's go and have a look at defensively where this puts them on the table. So they're down right now by 48 points. If they get this kick, I should say 46 right now. So they're at 516 points given up this season. 516 points. They are now the 4th worst defense in the competition. Oh no. Oh my gosh, they're actually only like 3 more tries away from going into the 2nd worst defense of the comp. They're only like 3 more tries away from it. Gee, Todd Payton's halftime speech was effective. No, it's good stuff, Annie. No, it's fantastic stuff. Sam Walker, he will miss the kick and will stay for 2-6. He was perfect until then. Slug Rama says Roosters should let the try scorers convert their tries. They can afford it. Well, they did miss that kick. Peps fans are getting worried now from this performance from the Roosters. No, like I fully expect the Panthers will probably come out and do the same now. The Sharks set the platform. The Roosters continue the build, and the Panthers and the Warriors, they need to really start developing the nails and the wood into the house now. They're going to really start developing this house now with what the Roosters and the Sharks have done. What's Ashley Klein doing? I haven't even seen this before. I can't believe he didn't let them score another. Incredible. Doesn't Manly go to 8 because of the bye? That is incorrect because they lost last week. They lost. The Cowboys are on 26. Knights are on 26. The Rabbitohs are on 26. Manly with the bye will go to 24. Manly, they need to beat the Titans. They're still 2 wins away from the Cowboys. So, yeah, they'll be 2 points short of them, but yikes. Big old Yikamundos. Big old yikes. Actually, yeah, because they're in 24 points. Bulldogs have dropped back down at 10th. Laurie says, thought they beat the Panthers and Tamalolo's 300 and don't care anymore. No, they beat the Broncos and thought it was 2015 grand final all over again. Spencer Leniu to the 20 on 3rd tackle. Michael says, yeah. But the thing is like, again, they're out to the left-hand side again. They're away here. Tommy Talau. Oh, no. They're actually going to score 90. Like, they may actually score 90 here, guys. Like, they're still just dominating them. Sam Walker to Reece Robson. Not Reece Robson. Oh, that's eye tackle. Oh, Ashley Klein's letting that go, even though that was eye tackle. It's Connor Watson. They go to the left, Sam Walker. They're going to run this ball. They're away here. Back underneath here to Tedesco. He'll go over the sideline. And it'll be... Oh, Hugo Savada, sorry. It'll be Cowboys ball at 28. 2 minutes of waiting for all the comments and blaming the refs. No, Uncle Tix, no. Apparently, we've had a comment before saying this is Tom Dearden's fault. He's not playing here today. But apparently, we saw a comment before, this is Tom Dearden's fault here today. This is Tom Dearden's fault here today. No, I don't think there is anybody with a self-respecting personality at all. I don't think there is a Buckley's chance. There is no way that anybody could blame the referee here for today because the only try the Cowboys received was off a bullshit penalty. Jeremiah the Nate of the 45 on third tackle. Matt Bowen's fault. No, it's Tom Dearden's fault, mate, apparently. Third tackle here at 50, and Jason Tamalolo is going to actually run the ball hard and get the ball to 35. Good run. Premiership winners Broncos lost to this team, by the way. They did just last week. This isn't a good thing for the Titans. So that's forward pass from the Cowboys. This isn't a good thing for the Titans because like the Cowboys are going to have to come in red hot next week. Is it actually possible for any NRL team to score 100 points? Like, is it actually possible? Yeah, because there were teams that scored 80 back in the days that tries were only worth 3 points. Yeah, the highest score ever was like 94 points, but that was also back when the tries were worth 3 points a pop. All right, so 34 minutes to go here of the game. Don't forget, guys, tomorrow, of the 2 games, we've got Bulldogs Storm, which should be an absolute belter. But Dragons Dolphins, to start it off, is a little bit how you going. Then we can start this round off with 2 blowouts. Reece Robson gets it to Connor Watson. Now Reece Robson again. Go out to the left. The Roosters will get this ball to the 50 on 4 tackle. It really tells you something when the Roosters players are laughing during a game so openly. I know, it's incredible. Connor Watson now takes this ball to the 45 on the Cowboys side of the field. And now Cherry Evans, just a reminder, they're only 3 converted tries away from hitting 70. I blame Sam Walker for you don't say this. No, he's playing here today, though. No. Sammy Walker playing for his 10-year contract this game. I think he was always getting the old 10-yearer. Second tackle. Now third tackle for the Cowboys at the 30. This is like the Super Rugby Grand Final where the Canes smacked the Chiefs. Yeah, not many people here will know too much about the old Super Rugby, but I do know that, the Super Rugby final was an absolute blowout of epic proportions. But that's just because the Fiji and Jura forfeited from being too good. Sonny Luke will get taken down here at the 35 on fifth tackle. Atapani says they can possibly beat the Panthers fully healthy. Yeah. Yeah, they can. But they did lose by... Oh, that's pathetic from the Cowboys. The Roosters are away. Cody Ramsey still going here. Cody Ramsey still going at the 40 on first tackle. Just get up quickly and they might just run away with it here. If you get up quickly, you might be able to go. No, that was way too slow from Ronald Tawasa. And now the defensive line set again. Second tackle of the Roosters at 30. Rex says, with the score being what it is, as good as ever, time to discuss how the Rabbitohs' chances against the Roosters in a cockfight. Rabbitoh beats a Rooster in a cockfight, but if you're talking about in rugby league, oh my gosh. Oh, Hugo Zavala, 5 minutes out, third tackle. If you're talking about rugby league, the Roosters will pump the Rabbitohs when it comes to it in round 27. Full strength. Reece Robson gets his ball across, and I don't think he's been scored here. I think he's going to get held up here, Egan Butcher. He's going to get held up here. Yeah, great run by Cody Ramsey. Are the Cowboys just secretly playing Auckland Knights? We just don't know. Oh, well, maybe. But I think they might be playing a bit of golf here, thinking that the lowest score wins because this is putrid. Has Teddy been taken off? Hey, maybe. I haven't seen Tedesco this half. I think so. I think Cody Ramsey's playing fullback. That's so disrespectful. Oh, dude. Cowboys, that is so disrespectful. Oh, the Cowboys get the ball back and then they get it stripped on first tackle. Oh, no. It's first tackle in for the Roosters 5 metres out from the line. You're kidding me. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh, dude. No way. 30 minutes to go here of this game. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Connor Watson, Sam Walker kicked it. And that's going to be Cowboys ball to 5, but who cares? Like, I know it's second tackle and it's stupid, but if you can see a try here, I'll care. Jam eliminated the 20 on first tackle. Wow, Marcella says, I remember back in 2008, the Raiders beat the Panthers 74-12. Trevor Thurling got 3 tries. Remember him. Remember the name. Can't really remember a great deal about some of those askew players, but I remember the name. Another like random name that always comes into my head with the Raiders is always Sean Fenson. But the reason why is because he used to be a bolter when it came to NRL fantasy back in the day. The amount of tackles he would make would just be disgusting. Sean Fenson used to be just a workhorse, dude. And on its wide side catches it underneath, and they might get away again here. Now double 10 down to 25 from first tackle. Red Knight says, how many times do you say, my gosh? Mate, the score is 52-6 with 30 minutes to go here. I think it's justified in regards to saying it, really. I'll throw on the tinfoil hat and say the Cowboys are throwing this game to try and make the Wires drop out of the 4. What does this have to do with the Warriors dropping out of the 4? The Roosters were already above it. 4 tackle. Is Tedesco injured? Because if he's not, that's hilarious. Roosters are resting in the second half. Yeah, well, he's not on the field. Cody Ramsey's playing fullback. And Siwa Wong, he'll get taken down to 45 on fit tackle. Reece Robson to Cherry Evans. And he's just going to kick this one normally down to the 5. For you, Dad, the only time I find blowout's fun when the losing team is on 0. This game is just kind of sucks overall now with what that try from the Cowboys. Yeah, I would agree with you. Yeah, blowouts like this, like 52-0 would look sweet. 52-6 is just like, well, we've seen both teams score. We know that Roosters are going to win this game. We know the Cowboys are ass, and now it's just about waiting for the Dolphins-Dragons game, which could be just as ass. Teddy's legit injured. He's been ruled out because of his ankle. I don't know where he got injured. Yeah, not sure. But the Roosters now get this ball to the 40. And Sonny Luke, quick pass to Thomas McKaylee. And it'll be fit tackle now at the 40. Teddy out injured. God bless him. Hope he's okay. We want him to be playing against the Panthers in 2 weeks' time. Not to Wase. Good grab at the 20. On first tackle, that was a consolation try for the Cowboys. Well, sure, because it shouldn't have been a try. At the end of the day, it was awful defense on the Roosters, but it should have been a try on the basis that there was there's a penalty for the Roosters. It should have been a knock-on against the Cowboys, and so they gave it a penalty, and then they scored. Even the Eels versus Tigers can perform better than the Cowgirls. Oh, dude. The first game of the round is this. The last game of the round is Eels-Tigers, guys. Bless up. It's going to be a big weekend. It's going to be a massive, massive weekend. Jaden says, do you see Meninga going past his first year? I reckon they sold him the job by telling him that just with him, they'll sign big names. That failed, especially when you see how well the Dragons recruited. Yeah, Dragons and Papua New Guinea and other clubs have honestly done better. Have honestly done better than the Perth Bears. You're right. There's already infighting at the merge there, and the Perth Bears are the middle child. They really are, and they're going to find it incredibly tough. And I think the NRL's done wrong by them by bringing Papua New Guinea in so soon. But also Papua New Guinea have been given all the benefits, and yeah, I don't know how long Mal will last. Like, they honestly have a spoon roster next year. Whether they win the spoon or not, it's a different story, but they have a spoon roster. Reece Robson, left-hand side. Sam Walker. Cody Ramsey flicks it over the top here. Tommy Talau with the ball. Tommy Talau steps back onto the inside. He's still moving here. Tommy Talau's still going here. He's still going here. Tommy Talau is still going here. And he loses the ball. Well, that was just dumb from Tommy Talau. It was great until it wasn't. And now we Scott Drinkwater 0 tackle the 8. Eels Tigers is better than this, surely, Ty. I'll have you know there hasn't been an insane amount of errors in this game. I'll have you know if there's going to be error. That's a forward pass. They won't call it though. I'll have you know if there's going to be a million errors out of a game, it's going to be that one. Who do you reckon Bears will verse in their first game? I still remember that Dolphins versus Roosters game. Probably Manly, that would be a pretty good opening there for the Perth Bears. I'd say Manly could be a great shout. The Cowboys are away here. They're actually going to probably score, or maybe not. They will score. They actually will score here. So Tom Chester is going to score a try. It's 52-10 with a kick to come. 52-10 with a kick to come. Cowboys will score. They will score. Perth should take another name, like the Miners. You can't take Bears seriously. Tiger Hood, I'm going to make a suggestion here. And I'm going to suggest that you probably wouldn't want to be calling a name the Miners. No. Even though they're two different words. But I'm just saying it wouldn't be good in terms of Australian banter. Comebacks on. Ultra Sigma says, yeah, no, it's on, mate. And also, I agree. Bear is fine. Jesus, Cowboys comeback about to be crazy. Yeah, no, it's something. It is something. 25 minutes to go in the game. Good second half, Cows. You've pulled a try back. Yeah, no, amazing second half. They're still... Actually, no, they're leading 6-4 in the second half now. So 52-12 with 25 minutes to go here of the game. 25 minutes to go here of the game. It is 25 minutes to go here of the game. I'm surprised no team has a name called the Wolves. We don't have wolves in Australia, do we? I don't think we do. Do we? I don't think we have wolves in Australia anywhere, unless it's maybe like Tasmania or something. Not that, like, rabbits make sense. An eel makes sense, I guess. You'll find them in rivers. We got plenty of horses and who's some other animals? We got plenty of sharks. Penalty to the Cowboys here at the 15. Who's some other animals? Bulldogs. Yeah, fine. I don't think we have wolves in Australia, do we? I'm not an outback kind of guy. Ian says, how bad has Cohen Hess been? Yeah, no team called the Dingoes. Yeah, that would make sense, Brenton. Yeah, that would make sense. Dingoes would make sense, but you'd have to have it like North Queensland, and they've already got, like, I guess if you had like if you did go the Brisbane Western Corridor, maybe you could look towards a dingo, but it would have made sense more so if it was like up in North Queensland area. The Darwin Dingoes? That sounds so lame. Darwin Crocs. Like, you got to have the Crocs. Yo, Crocodilias. We're heading up to Darwin to take on the Crocodiles. How cool is that to say? I'm travelling up to Darwin this week because we're going to take on the Crocodiles. That's what I'm talking about. Darwin Dingo sounds really cringy and lame. But the Crocs? Oh, my gosh. Now we're talking. Yeah, no. Alice Springs Crackheads probably aren't going to be getting a team. Well, that's just going to be a penalty here to the Roosters. Oh, they're just going to say, well, it's just going to be Roosters bought the one. Yeah, wrong call, but sure. Perth Wombats. Oh, yeah, no, that's terrifying, mate. Yeah, no, that is terrifying. Roosters only get to the 2 here on second tackle. Darwin Crocodiles' main colour is green and yellow. Yeah, yeah, exactly right. Oh, that's so poor. That's so poor. They're actually going to score here. Murray Talangi. It's going to be 0 tackle to 5. Well, the Roosters are actually falling asleep right now. I don't know why people are suggesting names of teams that already have names. We've just had Manly Dingoes. What? Manly have already got a team name. Scott Drinkwater are going to be taken down to the 10. First tackle. The game sucks when we're inventing new team names in the comments. The game sucks when we're not just inventing new team names, but we're inventing new team names for teams that already have a name. We've got the Manly Dingoes, and now we've got Raiders, Viking. What's going on? What's going on? Like, Manly have already... Like, it's the literal opposite animal to what they already are. McKaylee's going to be 3 minutes away from the line. Fourth tackle. Sonny Luke kicks this ball through, and that's going to be... Roosters are going to get out of the in goal. Oh, my gosh, Cowboys. They're going to check this, but it's not a try, but it might be a dropout still. Paris Squeals first team name. One of the commentators on 9 said could be game on. Yeah, no, it's game on. No, it's game on for sure. So they kicked this ball through. I think they were looking for Sammy Mack. Or Scott Drinkwater. They go back towards the ball. To be fair, Drinkwater's taken him out here before he's got the ball. He's got his arm around him. Well, that hasn't been placed down. It's gone backwards here from the Roosters too. This is actually play on. Brisbane Barramondis. Firstly, Brisbane already have a team name. Yeah, it's penalty the Roosters here. Penalty Roosters. North Queensland Butterflies. Yep, so again, people are really struggling to figure out the conversation here. There is already a team name for North Queensland. It's called the Cowboys. We've got Penrith Wildcats. There is already a team name for Penrith. It's called the Penrith Panthers. Yes. Funmax says, I still want a Tassie-based team, the Tasmanian Devils. No, it's too obvious. You got to come up with a different name than Tasmanian Devils. It's too obvious. What are they calling them in the AFL? And also, we're not getting a Tasmanian team for like 20 plus years. What is it? What's the AFL's team name again? What is it called? Oh, they are the Devils. I think they are calling them the Devils. Yeah, so it's going to be just Tassie Devils there. You can't take the same name. All right, so first tackle here for the Roosters. They're going to be at the 40. Gold Coast meter maids. Okay, that's the only one. I don't even think they do that anymore. Do they do that anymore on the Gold Coast? Second tackle at the 45. I actually can't remember the last time I saw the meter maids. Bondi Bum Bandits. That's really Brokeback Mountain, that one. So that's really a strange suggestion there, Jack Lewis. That is super Brokeback Mountain, that one. So Cherry Evans will give this one off to Robert Toya, and he'll be the 25 now, fifth tackle. 20 minutes to go here the game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. Reece Robson, Cherry Evans, kicks it up. Chase through's good. Up it goes. Cowboys get it, and they'll be taken down here at the 10 on first tackle. Perth Crocodiles. You know, Darwin makes the most sense for that. Northern Territory. Cahill's crossing or whatever. Oh, they've lost the ball, the Cowboys. The Roosters will go back onto the attack here. Reece Robson. He'll flick the ball across here to Hugo Savala. And Savala still moving and grooving. Taking under 25 on zero tackle. This is amazing, Cowboys. Like, the Roosters have gone to sleep the second half, and it's still only 6-4. It's still only 6-4. Got to do way better than that, SK. I know you're trying to troll. You got to do way better than that, bro, if you want to get a reaction. Second tackle here at the 8. They'll go out to the right-hand side here. Reece Robson, Cherry Evans. Cherry Evans out the back again. Here's a chance for the Roosters. They're 5 metres away from the line. Tactical Penguins. Well, they're already in the comp. Out to Cherry Evans. Then across here to Victor Radley. Radley out the back of the Sam Walker. Hits the grass. Picked up by Savala. Pushed it to the 15. 4 tackle. Adelaide Rams bring it back. Don't know about that. They go to the right. Cherry Evans. Quick passing. That's going to be zero tackle here for the Roosters. Well, they're going to say knock on. Yeah, Roosters feed, knock on Cowboys. 19 minutes left here at the game. Perth Ray Guns. I can't believe they're actually making like a documentary. They're making a documentary on Ray Gun, or they've already made a documentary on Ray Gun. Amazing stuff. The Amazon River capybaras. What are you even talking about? Honolulu Hunters. Now, that's what we're talking about. That's too easy. Robert Toya, try time. Reece Robson with the try assist. And Robert Toya with the easiest try he'll ever score in his life. 56-12 with a kick to come. Robert Toya will go over. And that was the easiest try you will ever see in your life. 56-12. Wowee. Look at that hole, man. Look at the hole. Ridiculous. That is ridiculous. I honestly just want to sit here and sit like this the rest of the stream because there is nothing going on in this game besides just Roosters tries, man. Like, it is outrageous. Yeah, no, that's what we're going to do, Jake. We're going to bring the New York Yankees in, mate. Yeah. Well, they can't win the old Major League Baseball, so, you know, you may as well bring them in, give them a chance to win something. They're not going to win it here either, but they'd probably struggle in the ABL, to be completely honest with you. I just to think I tipped the Cowboys. What was I thinking? Well, this is what I was trying to say at the beginning of the stream. Like, I just thought Roosters 13 plus. David's his full strength coach today, mate. You know, yeah, we need to go a bit crazy here, man. We need to go a bit crazy. Uncle Tix is what are hiding. Mate, they have slapped them. They have tickled them. They have Brokeback Mountain them all the way to oblivion. This is a Brokeback Mountain job, this. If Roosters score 80, you should place the Cowboys with the Amazon rainforest capybaras. No, if they concede... If the Cowboys concede 80, I will put them on Antarctica Penguins from tomorrow. I 100% would. I will put them on Antarctica Penguins for tomorrow's streams with the Dolphins versus the Dragons. And Dolphins versus Dragons and Storm Bulldogs. I'm actually looking forward to Storm Dogs. Mango Dogs is Marky Mark 2, Teddy Burns, Toy 41, $10 bet, $4.10 return. Nice. Looking forward to $41 donation. Looking forward to 10% there, son. So Martin Tawase, no, good win. Second tackle at the 25. The Rooster that broke the Cowboys' back. Plenty of backs being blown out today here, the Cowboys. Third tackle now for the Roosters at 33. Orcas, yeah, I can dig it. No, I actually like the name Wellington Orcas, to be fair. Some people don't. I actually like it. Cherry Evans to Mark Nawan at the Wasay, and he will get this ball to the 45 on full tackle, offloads it, Reece Robson, then passes it to Sam Walker. Sam Walker at the 50. I'm telling you, there's still a chance here they get 70. They're away here. Tommy Talau, he'll run into the contact at the 25. Meadman's been gone for a while now, big in the 80s. Yeah, I knew that they weren't around for ages because there's probably too many Karens and softcocks out there. There's too many softies. It's too... There's no way people would allow that nowadays. So sorry for attractive women walking around in bikinis paying for your meter. So apologising. So just unbelievably apologetic. Third tackle now for the Cowboys at the 22. Davis has had to send 10% of betting wins. Yeah, no, man got dogs. I'm looking forward to it. Fourth tackle now at 30. Yeah, thanks for that 10-minute reply, Michelle. Well, she's probably gone and Googled it, to be fair, which is fair. At least she's helping us out. But yeah, it was a while ago that we were talking about the meter modes. I'm surprised there are still people in the stadium who are Cowboys fans. Good on ya. Good on ya. And the Roosters now bring this ball to the 25. Talking about New Zealand. Anyone remember when they almost changed the flag to a Kiwi shooting lasers out of his eyes? That'd have been cool, but... That'd have been cool. Kiwi shooting lasers out of his eyes. Now we're talking. You know, that's the real business. You know that there's a country that means business when they've got a Kiwi shooting lasers out of its eyes on the flag itself. Now we're talking. You know, let's start really talking about a kangaroo and what it can do on our flag. How about that? They go to the left-hand side. Robson... I think that's a penalty to the Roosters. It is. Yep, penalty to the Roosters. Penalty to the Roosters. Port Macquarie Pelicans. No, we're watching some Pelicans tonight, Jake. Names already taken. Uncle Tick says, Cowboys fans currently writing a 14-page essay about the bunker. Well, there's no way. There is no way anybody from North Queensland should be blaming the bunker or any officials here today. I'm not sure how a coach can survive this. He literally signed a contract extension for 2 years 2 weeks ago. It was dumb then, it was dumb before, and it's dumb now. So first tackle now, Reece Robson, right-hand side to Sam Walker. And now the Roosters will bring this ball to the 5 on second tackle. Reece Robson, Sam Walker, short ball. 3 metres, 2 metres out there for Victor Radley. Go for a scoot yourself here, Reese Robs. You've been brilliant tonight, Reese Robson. No, he goes to Sam Walker. He'll step it back. He goes to Cody Ramsey. Cody Ramsey will push this ball to the 8 on 4 tackle now. Now to the right. Sam Walker kicks it through and drop out. Drop out from the Cowboys. What a strange game. Not really. Like, when a team blows out the first half, this is usually what happens. It slows down dramatically in the second half. Because the result's done, you know what I mean? So, the intention doesn't need to be there. Or New Zealand did have a horse, the Prime Minister. No. So, 13 minutes to go here at the game. Top Payton job on life support many times. Again, he signed a contract extension 2 weeks ago. Roosters will get the ball here at the 15 on first tackle. They're not sacking him. They've got to pay him for the next 2 years regardless. Or they're going to pay him those extra 2 years regardless. Here you go, Savala at the 5. Celeste Fiketti. Across here to Sam Walker. Nafahu White. And Nafahu White, he's going to be at the 5, the 4, the 3. Go for a scooty, Reese. Come on. They go to the right, Sam Walker. Cherry Evans out quickly. Roosters over the top here for Big Marky Mark. Big Marky Mark! Oh, dude. 62 to 12 with a kid to come. That is an embarrassing try, that is so easy there for Mark, bro. That is so easy. There is still 80 points is still an offer. 3 tries in 12 minutes is not out of the equation. This is a great hate watch, Mitchell says. Just Another Human says, this is all a part of a conspiracy to change the narrative away from the Tiggs madness. No, it's to try and change the conversation away from how good the Titans are right now, mate, being undefeated in first position. Well, I see right through the narrative. I see right through this. See right through it. Right through it. From the Instagram comments, if you're wondering, what did the Bunnings say before? What was the original comment? Cowboys actually deserve cold water showers and 1 bar of soap to share. They deserve to fly economy to Sydney just to come back home to Townsville to go home, and it be by a public bus from the airport. So public bus to the airport, a flight economy in the back rows next to the babies to Sydney, and then fly them back tomorrow economy. But in the cargo this time, not even an economy. And then public bus from the airport. And the Roosters will get the kick. They will get the kick, and it is 64 points to 12 with 10 minutes to go here the game, folks. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. This is a disgrace here, Cowboys. This is a disgrace. There is still a chance of 80 here. You're just lucky the Roosters went to sleep second half. Titans put a 90 on them next week. This rage on it says, oh, I'm a little bit nervous. Like, at the end of the day, this should fire the Cowboys up for next week. But Keanu Kenny would have had a field goal here today. A field day here today. How good was that kick from Ramsey? What a player. Andy says Kyle Flanagan would save this Cowboys team. Oh, no. King Kong says, how good's Marky Mark? He's actually not even been that great today. He scored 3 tries, but he's actually not even been that great today. It's definitely not been his best game. There's been much better plays to the Roosters today, but he is a great player. He is great, but it's definitely not been his best game. So the Roosters will bring this ball to the 15 on first tackle. It is 16 points away from 80. We are 10 points away from seeing the highest score we've seen in a long time, though. The most recent highest score in the 70s was 72-0 Cowboys over the Tigers here about 3 years ago. Third tackle now at the 30. But again, there's still 10 minutes left here. Roosters out to Sam Walker. Sam Walker over the top, and they're away again. Tommy Talau, the 40, the 45, the 50, the 45, the 40. Taken down 4th tackle in the attacking half. 74-0, Mitchell. That's a Tigers fan letting us know that. Okay, well, fair enough. Nat Butcher gets the offload away. Reese Robson picks it up, and he'll bring this ball out to the 33 on 5th tackle. 74-0, so we're 10 points away So 2 converted tries. We'll see. But then again, they still conceded 12 points here, the Roosters. And whack it up. And drop ball for the Cowboys. And Roosters will... It's going to be a double knock on here. So it'll be Roosters ball. No, they're going to say Roosters knock on. It wasn't a double knock on, just Roosters knock on. They're going to challenge this, but... They will challenge this bad boy. What a game this has been, but what a game. And this is why for weeks I didn't put the Roosters on fraud alert, even though we wanted to. Because I just knew this was, not this, but like you just knew this was possible. Nafahu White and Victor Radley in front of the kicker. I don't know why he's called Nafua. I'm sure he'll be within the 10. I'm sure he's going to be in the 10. Oh, he's within 10, but he's... Oh, I'll actually know they are outside the 10. I was looking at the wrong player. It's a drop ball here from the Cowboys for sure. Murray to Lungy. No touch from the Roosters. There's no touch on the Roosters. This is just off the Cowboys. Yeah, okay. Knock backwards from Murray. Still waiting. Yeah, that's fine. You pretty quickly assumed backwards, but... Siwa pushes that ball to the right. Who touches this one? It's a knock on Wase. Yeah. Mark touches this ball here. And then it will go forward into Robert Twelve. The Cowboys are defending with positive thoughts. Cowboys and defence does not go together here, sir. It never has. This is why Cowboys don't typically play Thursday night. It's a great point. Didn't we have someone last week who was like saying, why do the Cowboys never get Thursdays? Or why do the Cowboys never get the... Thank gosh I've got a beautiful view out here to look at instead of this game. But wasn't somebody last week complaining that Cowboys don't get free-to-wear games or something? So Cowboys at the 20. What an absolute schmozzle that was. That was a schmozzle. Any Cows fans, kids crying in the stadium must be a nightmare for the little ones. Go play soccer, son. Jeez, why has the little one just gotten slapped and said, go play soccer, son? Deary me. Deary me. But all right. The Cowboys' third tackle. Gets the ball to the 40. Cooper a blocker, worst commentary. I think the worst commentary comes from if anybody believes that Tom Dearden is the reason for this result here tonight. Cooper and blocker are better commentary than blaming Tom Dearden for this result tonight. How about that? Second tackle. The answer is blocker in regards to the worst commentary. No. Cowboys might score. Cowboys might score. No, they won't. The Roosters are going to score. Up the other end of the field, the Roosters are going to make a 70, lads. The Roosters are going to... Oh, well, no. Cody Ramsey isn't going to get there. Back up the inside for Sam Walker. Sam Walker. That is incredible. Cowboys looking like they're going to score. Instead, the Roosters are about to make it a sexy 70, son. Sexy 70, baby. Get your shirts off. Get your shirts off in the buddy Bondi latte sipping eastern suburbs. Get your shirts off, you cats. You got the Cowboys. Why drink water? Drink water. That's an awful knock on. But like he's complaining about something, but yet the Roosters are about to be up by 70. There is still time for 2 tries, by the way, to hit 80. Uncle Tig, 70 points. Mate, I'm telling you, 80 is still entirely possible here. Tedesco's just mogging on them. Tedesco hasn't even played the second half. Tedesco is just mogging on them from the sheds at half time. He's not even at half time. He's just mogging on them. 7 minutes to go. This is putrid, bro. I honestly believe this Cowboys performance has been worse than the Tigers' performance against the Cowboys when they lost 74-0. But obviously the Cowboys have scored 12 points, but it's just like... Jeez. No mad cow for the Cowboys tonight. No, they are the mad cow. They've all clearly got mad cows at the moment. Maybe a first selection. Well, this is the first sexy 70. Oh, wait, we're here for the 74-0. Did I stream it? I probably would have. Or was that on the same day? That might have been on the same day as the Titans game. As in, I wasn't able to stream because I was at a Titans game. Let me go have a look. I think it was 2024, wasn't it? 2024. What round was it? No, it might have been 2023, actually. Might have been 2023. Hold on. I think this may have been the first sexy 70 we've ever seen here. 2023. It was 2023. Okay, so... Yeah, 66-18 there. 74-0. Round 18. Round 18. Titans in round 18. Saturday. Yeah, against the Raiders in Canberra. Yeah, no, I wouldn't have streamed it. So this is actually the first sexy 70 you've ever seen here on BKRsport. 70 points with 12 or 6.5 minutes to go to the game. No, you didn't stream it. No, yeah, because I was at the Raiders-Titans game. We got robbed that game too. That was the David Fafita try they took away from us. They go to the right-hand side in the Fahu White. If you are a Sharks fan, a Dolphins fan, or a Warriors fan, or even definitely a Panthers fan, you are spewing about this. You are spewing. Spewing. You were here for the Storm 70 points against the Warriors. Yeah, I was. I was actually for that. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Fed tackling at the 40. And the Roosters will get this one away. I don't know if I'm going to get the electric 80. I don't know. This makes up for the Cronulla blue ball last week. That was a bullshit blue ball from Cronulla. That was a bullshit Mundos blue ball. And they'll get this ball across, and that's arguably forward. But Cowboys are away. Cowboys are away. They get the ball back on the inside. Taken down to the 24 on second tackle. They won't hit 80, unfortunately, Jono says. Oh, it's a Roosters penalty. They still could, Jono. On the attack, the Cowboys give away the penalty. On the attack. Uncle Tick says it was a great game. I was in Queenstown pub for that win, and I was stoked up the Storm. What was the score in that one? 70-20 or something like that? It was 70 to... It's a high-scoring game. 70-10 or 70-20? Storm over the Warriors? All right, so Roosters 45 metres away. No, wow, what a kick. That's gone to the 25. That's gone to the 20. Oh, wait, no, did they kick that? They're back here at the 28. What happened? If they hit 80, ban me for this week. Well, I won't do that, Jono, but, like, you're almost a 7. It was a penalty back at the 28. 70-10, yeah. All right. So the Roosters, they're going to get this ball to the 20 on first tackle. If they score here, Jono. If they score here. Oh, my gosh, if they score here. Nafahu wide, he'll bring this ball to the 10 on second tackle. Second tackle here, 8 metres away from the line. They go to the left-hand side. Reece Robson, Sherry Evans, Sammy Walker. Here goes Savannah. Here goes Savannah. 74-12 with a kick to come. The electric 80. We're 6 points away, baby. 6 points away. Jono, mate. I'm cooked, he says. We're not going to time you out for the weekend, but you've got to do something to make up for it. You do. You got to do something. Benji and Peyton plans of a super club. What? What do you mean this is going to be looked at, Cooper? Hold on. Fouquetti. He's chosen. I don't know. I think Vossi has just disagreed and said he's made the decision. He's made the decision to tackle him. You can't blame it. No, but he's made the decision to tackle him. He is going through the hole, but Jackson Purdue has made the decision to tackle the player. I thought this was a try because he's running through the line, but Savala is going to make contact with him and wrap him up. I'm pretty certain he's decided to make this play. I think this is a try. I don't know why the time's still clicking down. Fair enough, anyway, actually. Brenton says, John, I had to wear a Cowboys jersey for a week if they do. Try's been confirmed. I agree. He has made the decision. Like Cooper Cronk, you're smoking something, bro. Jackson Purdue has decided to make the tackle. He is running through the line if Jackson Purdue isn't deciding to make the tackle. Look at him. He's making the tackle. That's his decision. Don't know why the Cowboys thought they were top shit after beating the Broncos. JBM, you just let him go. You just let him go. Really, you do. But it's the same thing with the Broncos. Like, the Broncos thought they were mad shit after the beating the Panthers. And it's just like, we've seen enough games this year to know what teams are like. And this scoreline was not on the wall, but like a blowout win for the Roosters was on the wall. 2.5 minutes for us to potentially see an electric 80 here, folks. They just ran off like 2 minutes. I know, disgraceful. Sam Walker, he will bing bong ding dong, 76 points to 12 with 2.5 minutes to go. I said that again. 76 points to 12, 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 76 points to 12. Yes. Yes. 76 points to 12. 76 points to 12 with 2.5 to go. Come on, Roosters. One more. One more to finish off the day here, Chooks. Come on. Get the electric 80. Get the electric 80 and send us on our happy damn well ways. All right. Seb says, hey, cows, get out of the comp, you flocks. So, 2.5 minutes to go here this game. Roosters have the ball. Savala to the right, and it's going to be Tommy Talau who brings his ball to the 20 on second tackle. Bulldogs should be nervous about next week. Any team's nervous about playing the Roosters or the Sharks right now. People forgive the Sharks now. That's why you have to keep making statements at this point of the year. They go to the left-hand side, and it's going to be Salesi Foketi. No, Talau Salu to the 40. They go to Nafahu White, offloads it to Sam Walker. They're away here. He kicks the ball through. Over the top here. Electric 80! Electric 80! It is an electric 80. Oh. It's an electric 80. It's an electric 80. It's an electric 80. 8 to 12 to get to come. Reece Robson, Nafahu White, offload Sam Walker. See you later. Smack him home. Over the top. Bounces up there for Cody Ramsey. It's 8 to 12 to get to come. 8 to 12. 80 to 12. Jono, mate, listen. You said they wouldn't hit 80. There's a chance they still get to 88 if they get this kick, which they will in front. There's actually time for one more try. Oh my gosh. We've just seen 80 points scored. Gee, the Cowboys will be on the Antarctic and Penguins from tomorrow. The Cowboys are now going to be the officially first team to be removed from the ladder, and it will be the Antarctic and Penguins from tomorrow when we are live for the Dolphins versus the Dragons and the Bulldogs versus the Storm. Seb Watson with a 2-pound donations. There's the clock, you shitters. Yep. The Sydney Roosters have officially beaten the clock. They have 91-6 was the biggest ever win in history, by the way. So they won't get that. If they weren't so slow in the first 20 minutes of the second half, like they would have hit 100. If they didn't have a really slow 20 minutes to start the second half, like Tedesco's been off since half time, guys. Tedesco's been off since half time. They've still gone and scored another 36 odd points. 34 points. Michael Prentice is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. If Fleet has changed their logo to a penguin, I will be changing their name to the Penguins. We will be changing their name to the Penguins, and we'll be changing their logo. And Sam Walker will get the kick. It's 82 points to 12 with 4 seconds left. They'll let the clock run out. It's a 70-point win here to the Sydney Roosters. You are kidding me, Cowboys. Genuinely, the Roosters, if they wanted to here today, could have scored 100 points. That is the third highest points ever scored in a game. 91 by St. George in 1935, 87 by the Roosters in 1935, and now 82 by the Roosters in 2026. I genuinely mean this. If they didn't have a slow start at the second half of the first 20 minutes, they genuinely would have got 100 points here today. What an embarrassment this has been for North Queensland. Gee whiz. And you just re-signed your coach for 2 years 2 weeks ago. Wow. And anyone still reckon the unders are hitting here today? Oh my gosh. You still reckon the unders could be here today? I can't believe that we just watched that. 82 points to 12 is going to be the final score here. James Tedesco did not play the second half. Angus Crichton did not play here today. Billy Smith was not here today. And the Roosters have been so underwhelming recently. And yet they've just absolutely bent them over and said, hey, listen, take this one. Take this one because it's a whopper. But anyway, final score 82-12, guys. We'll be live tomorrow for the Dragons versus Dolphins and Storm versus Bulldogs game. The Roosters here will go equal first with the Panthers. Because they win by 70 points, they will go to plus 155. They are now only 6 points away from the Sharks. They are only 35 points away from the Warriors. Still a good, healthy chunk of 130 differential away from the Panthers. But the Roosters will be equal first with the Panthers. And they get to play them next 2 weeks' time, lads. If the Panthers lose either today, or either this week or next week, the Roosters-Panthers will play off for the minor premiership in 2 weeks' time. But then that's also to assume the Warriors aren't there, the Sharks aren't there. You know, this is a pretty good chase here for the final. This is a pretty good chase for the final stretch of that minor premiership and the top four. But wow, what a statement today by the Roosters. Said with the £2 donations. So don't forget the Cows were at home as well. Well, I did say this before the game started. They've given up 40 points and 40, a couple of 40 bombs, a couple of friggin' 40s to the Manly Seagulls and the Dolphins this year at home. They haven't, like, they were 6-3 coming to this game at home, but like, it's been not that great. Like, if you actually go through their season, it hasn't been spectacular. King Kong's the first team since 1935. Exactly right. And what's interesting about that is that back in 1935, that was when there was 3 points scored per try. 3 points per try. This is now when there's 4 points per try. So you need to really think about how many tries were scored back then, because the Roosters East back in 1935 and the St. George back in 1935, both of those two teams, they got 91 points and 87 points respectively, with it being 3 points per try rather than 4 points. The Roosters have just had one of the greatest games you've ever seen in modern history. Well, the highest scoring team in modern history. And yet they were still 5 points away from the East team in 1935, and they were still 9 points away from the St. George team in 1935. Old School Swaggy says hello from Hua Hin A2. Get around in Hua Hin. It's because the Cowboys had their Titans kits on. Titans are in some decent form at the moment. Fun Fact says Chargers make sense. Didn't look anything like the Titans, but Chargers made sense. Cows just morals for the rest of the year. Nothing but feels. What a circus. Just, nightmare. You know, and my gosh, they better beat the Titans next week. My goodness, they better damn well beat the Titans next week, man. But anyway, that's going to do us here for today, guys. We'll see you tomorrow for the Dolphins versus the Dragons, and also the Bulldogs versus Storm. Bulldogs Storm should actually be a really good game. Dolphins Dragons could be another blowout. But you've witnessed history here today, guys. This is the first time in all of our lifetimes. I promise you, there is not a single person here. Well, there can't be. You would have to be in your late 80s. So if there's somebody in their late 80s right now watching, hats off to you. No, you would have to be 91. You would have to be 91 years old to have seen a bigger scoreline than this. No, you would have to be dead set like 100 because you wouldn't even remember something from when you're 0 years old. This is the first time that anybody alive here has watched a score above 80. Just let that sink in. Just let that sink in. That is the first time that anybody here has seen this scoreline here from a team. Amazing stuff. But all right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Obviously, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're new around here. Jay would have seen it. Jay would have seen it. Jay would have seen it, Brenton. You are right. Yeah, Jay would have been about if he was still with us. Yeah, you are right. Jeez, he would have copped it today. He would have copped it. We would have been like, how was it when East did this back in 35? But all right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. See ya. And I promise you, tomorrow, the Antarctica Penguins will be joining this competition, and you will see them on this table. And Bulldogs, by the way, actually, just quickly, you actually can get into the top 8 tomorrow with a win.